Yeah, welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast Live, Sunday morning edition. What's going on? What's going on? How's everybody doing? Transformer, what's good, bro?
Man, getting better, man. Healing.
Good,
Been
man.
a lot better. Been resting a lot, trying to get a lot of rest. Recovery's going great, man. Recovery's going great. I might be homebound for like another week or two. I'll give it another week or two before I should be able to step outside again.
That's good.
How you doing, man?
I'm maintaining, man. Trying to make something happen, man.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah. Looking like I've been blessed, and I ain't gonna get into it, but it looks like some good things on the horizon for me. So
yeah,
always thankful to the Most High. You know what I'm saying?
Always praise to the Most High.
Definitely.
Praise to the Most High.
Absolutely.
Praise to the Most High. That Tory Lane.
Absolutely.
We gotta listen to that one. That's a good song right there.
Oh, is it?
He snapped on that one. Yeah.
Okay. I might have to check it out.
It's called.
Is he any good?
Tory Lane's good. Tory Lane's is good. He's from up north.
I mean, that doesn't matter. It's cats from up there that can't rhyme. So,
Tory Lane's from Tory Lane's.
No idea.
He raps like he's from up north.
Could be. I don't know. But while you're doing that, let me give
Canadian.
Wow.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. While you're doing that, let me give a shout out to the channel members. Shout out to the members of this channel. We appreciate you always. Shout out to the number one channel member, Laker Nation. What's good, my brother? What's good? Thank you for being here. Shout out to Chief Sid Bubba. Good morning. How are you, Chief? Shout out to you. Shout out to the boys from Annapolis. Anchors away. What is this now? This is okay. It's almost June. Only got about 6 more months of this. Good. Shout out to the boys from Annapolis, man. Shout out to all our men and women in uniform. And on a more serious note, when it comes to that, obviously this is a Memorial Day weekend. So, we tend to take the time to enjoy this as, a little day off and maybe family and friends time or whatever. You barbecue, you're doing whatever you should be doing. But let's not lose sight of the reason for Memorial Day. And that is all of those who not just wore the uniform, but wore the uniform, made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation and the freedoms we now enjoy, and everything we're able to do, man. Because you go all over Europe, and there are markers for the graves of American service personnel. You go to Asia, it's the same thing, So a great many men and women have sacrificed themselves and sacrificed their lives for our country. So let's not forget about that. Don't mean to get somber or sad or anything like that, but that's the real meaning of Memorial Day. So let's keep that in the back of our minds.
Absolutely. Amen.
Yes. So we got a pretty decent show lined up for you guys today. As you can see by the thumbnail, Minnesota absolutely mollywopped, destroyed, annihilated, demolished. I'm sure there are lots of other words we could use, but
deep fried, barbecue.
Barbecue chicken. They absolutely went in on the freaking Thunder last night, and they put
boots to asses.
Really? They demolished them guys. So they played like they were desperate, and got the response that they needed. So but we'll talk about that a little later. And as you can see in the rundown, 3 topics today. And I think we got some good ones. So first, we are going to talk about Ryan Clark. And because I'm petty, I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of people on this channel and off this channel got on me for my takes and my thoughts about how I felt Ryan Clark handled that whole situation with RG3, Robert Griffin III. And lo and behold, he comes out, apologizes, and says a whole lot of what I had to say, what I got lambasted and excoriated for, But
lambasted and excoriated. Jesus.
Yeah. Funny. I wonder where Big Baby Chrissy is, but anyway.
Big baby, would you come forth and respond to Big Brucey?
That's right. Also, the second topic we're going to talk about David Falk versus Rich Paul. I thought that was really interesting, and you know me, I got some sound on that, and we are going to get into it because I don't like the BS, and how I know how to handle that. So we're gonna have some good discussion. And so No quick hits this morning. Are we ready to get to it, man?
Yeah, man. Let's get it.
All right. So I'll start off with the Ryan Clark piece. So what was it? Last Wednesday night, right? The Wednesday night show. I kept it at one topic. I talked about Ryan Clark and RG3 and that whole thing, which stemmed from the from the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark business, right? And I thought it wasn't something I really wanted to take the time to dig into, but it was something that I ended up having to dig into, and that's why I made the show only one topic, because obviously we know it was very nuanced. It had racial components, societal components, all that stuff. So I really wanted to get into it, and I really wanted to break it down, complete with the different sound from the things that Ryan Clark and Robert Griffin III both had to say. So like I said, it ran about 2.5 hours. That's something that you can go back and listen to if you haven't had the opportunity to hear it yet. I thought I would like to think that I handled that well. I would like to think that I handled that with the nuance and the care that it deserved. It was, again, not something I really wanted to get into, but I took my time and I did that. And during the course of that live, there were some people in the chat, not a lot, but some people in the chat who were really going at me for what I had to say about the way Ryan Clark handled it. And I thought that was very interesting, because lo and behold, a few days later, Ryan Clark, I don't know if he was forced by the powers that be or what, but Ryan Clark comes out with what would appear to be a heartfelt apology regarding how he handled that. Now, we're going to play the apology and we're going to talk about it, I'll just say this before I let Transformer go, before we start to play the clip. I personally don't feel like it was particularly heartfelt. And as we go through it, you'll see some examples where I'm like, really? Come on, man. But yeah, that's my thought. But Transformer, go ahead, man. First, we didn't really get a chance to get your overall feelings on this whole thing between those two. And then I don't know if you've heard the apology yet, but if you have, I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on it.
So to respond, I did hear the apology. I just heard it yesterday. First thing that popped up on my phone.
Okay.
Because it came up on Twitter and I clicked on it. And my reaction to the reaction of his to RG3, completely out of bounds. You stepped into a lane and you stepped into a fire that had nothing to do with the conversation that was had. Yeah. Ryan Clark, to me, never responded to what RG3 was doing, and that's criticizing Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. He kept it in between the lines as far as what the rivalry has been since the LSU Iowa days. Ryan Clark stepped into a realm of where, okay, now we're getting extremely personal because now you're bringing my family into this situation. Robert Griffin III's wife had zero to do with his take. Nothing. So you're bringing my wife into a conversation, a racial conversation now, talking about the respect for Black women and how am I, leaning more towards the white side to, more benefit my white wife. What are we actually talking about? Because now you're changing the subject and topic of conversation to fit your beef and quarrel towards me. Your beef and quarrel is with me. So we're talking past basketball. We're talking past Angel Reese. We're talking past Caitlin Clark. You're more so attacking me over my take of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. What are we talking about? This goes back to, and I hate to bring this up, but the Stephen A. and LeBron argument that was going on a couple of months ago. And when Stephen A. took it so personal that he started attacking people that weren't involved, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, you're bringing outside entities into your quarrel with another man. Why? Why are you trying to dig so hard to attack me when this ain't even them? These other parties don't have anything to do with my take or my topic of conversation. So the same thing with Ryan Clark. It was out of bounds. You know what I mean? Why are you attacking my wife? She ain't say nothing to you. My family ain't said nothing to you. I said something to Angel Reese. I don't even say anything to you. I'm talking about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. You decide that you dislike me so much that you took it to the core, which is my wife, who normally sits right behind me as this Kobe Bryant book is sitting right here, who normally sits right there behind me. And now I got to publicly defend my woman and my take and my stance on my family. So it was out of bounds. But it takes a man. Now, I'm not here to question intent. Intent only goes to the person who's applying the pressure. That's it. I can't judge intent. However he felt, it could have been true. It could have been sincere. It could have been phony. I can't judge that. I can only tell you that respect is due, because at least you publicly shamed his wife, or publicly talked about his wife, talked about his family. You publicly apologize with 3 minutes, and you kind of, shooting your own narrative and talking about yourself like, hey, I'm wrong for this. I did this. If I could take it all back, I would. Stuff like that. Like, hey, you publicly apologize. I can be at peace. Your intent is your intent. I can only judge you by you responding and you giving me that respect in that response. So that's my take on it, man. I don't want to take up too much time. I know we got to get to the actual apology. So
yeah, no, I hear you. And that was actually really good. The only thing I'll say, in fairness to Ryan Clark, he didn't actually attack RG3's wife, because he did speak highly of her. But what he did was use RG3's wife as a prop to attack RG3, which to me kind of amounts to the same thing, even if you didn't directly go in on RG3's wife. So that's kind of how I look at it. But yeah, so let's go ahead and we'll start listening to the Ryan Clark apology, and we'll do what we do. We'll break it down as we go.
A little bit ago, we started some different. Obviously, the talk of the week has been the back and forth between myself and RG3. All of it started over an Angel Reese take that he felt was a sports take that I didn't feel that way about. I felt it was away from the court. I felt that it was away from basketball. And because of the personal feelings I have about RG3, I took a take that was personal to another person and made it personal to myself. And I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have brought his wife into an equation, even though in my mind, before speaking about her, I processed as much as I possibly could to speak of her in a way that was positive, trying to make sure it only illustrated a point about the way that he approached Angel Reese. And in that, in some ways, and to some people, I probably missed the mark. I have a lot of experience with RG. I know some things about him personally. I'm not going to say that we are close. I'm not going to say that we are friends. But those things already imprinted in my mind, those feelings, already things that have developed over our experiences together, over some things that he said to me, done to me, probably some things I've said to him, they played a part in how I felt. Now, he's done some things that I haven't commented on because I didn't want or need to attack him. And
so he's already saying here that I wasn't in any way objective in what I was saying because my feelings were involved based on how I feel about RG3. That's not good.
Responded off of emotion.
Yeah, nor is that manly, right? That's not how we move. But or it shouldn't be how we move.
Female dog behavior. Yeah.
It is. Great way to put it. Great way to put it. Let's continue.
In this case, I wanted to defend a young black, which ended up being an attack on him. He felt, or at least he said, an attack on his family. And that was never the case or never the intent of mine.
Real quick, he says he wanted to defend a young black woman. Okay, cool. Did she tell you that she needed that defense from you? Right? If there was another woman who just happened to not be black that needed defense, would you have jumped to her defense? Right? You see what I'm saying? That's not good, right? You should stand on if somebody needs help, you help them, right? Regardless of their race or whatever there is, right? If they need help and that's your mentality, if somebody needs help, I'm gonna help them. Then why did they have to, I had to jump to the defense of a young black woman? Like, not really with that whole business of you always got to, try to jump to save every black woman. Like, nah, somebody needs help. I mean, unless you can clearly see it, right? If somebody's drowning, they may not be able to tell you they need help, but you get the point. But
I choking or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I didn't really like the way he presented that. But again, this is something I pointed towards in the first live that I did about this. Ryan Clark is slick, and the way he's approaching this and the way he's presenting it, he knows that he's going to get the majority of black people on his side by framing it in a certain fashion. And I don't like that because I think it's disingenuous. Instead of the merits of his argument should be able to sway people to his side, not unfortunately pulling the race card or whatever else. But that's me.
And I look back at this, I think a larger thing that has now happened is people who love and people who know me have now had to come to my defense because they know my heart, they know my actions, they know the intent of my words. By bringing in, maybe, I can't speak for these people, by speaking about RG's wife, it's now brought my family into the equation, or Bianca into the equation, or my children, Jordan, Logan, Jaden into the equation. I certainly didn't want them to have to be sort of the casualties of my Twitter or my media wars. Bianca, in particular, has taken a lot of heat, has taken a lot of hate. All she's ever done is give her life to her family. All she's ever done is make sure all of our kids, yes, that includes Jaden and Jordan and Logan, had the best home life, the most present mother, the best provider, the best support system that they possibly could. And
real quick, so he's saying basically like, his wife has taken a lot of heat and vitriol for his comments, and that's not cool at all. Why didn't you think about what RG3's wife was going to take, based on those comments, right? Unfortunately, we know that there's a lot of people in the Black community who are waiting to pounce on that and who I'm sure attacked RG3's wife regarding those same comments, right? So you were cool with it when it was somebody else's wife taking that heat and that vitriol, but when it's yours, you out here, you trying to fix it, right?
I'm pretty positive the moment Ryan Clark made that response about RG3's wife and his family, and everybody who sided with Ryan Clark came after Robert Griffin III's wife. Why do you think? Why do you think more so he had to step up and say something, right? Like, I'm pretty sure, like, his wife and family and members of his family were starting to get heat about that. Like, hey, you are you like that? Or like, is that how you feel? Like, are you just gonna side with this and side with that? I'm pretty positive the same thing that happened to Bianca, his wife, Ryan Clark's wife, was happening to Robert Griffin's wife. So, what did you think was going to happen when you, one, play a race card,
right,
and two, publicly, three, with the stature that you are, because the Pivot Podcast is doing an amazing job, right?
Absolutely.
So you have a lot of views and a lot of ears and a lot of fans and stuff that's going to support what you say. So what did you think was going to happen, right? So yeah,
I don't know what he thought.
I have no idea.
Yeah. G, what's going on, man?
G,
hold on, fellas.
Maintaining, brother, maintaining.
Then after that, after taking care of that family for decades of her life, she's now moved on into getting a degree, getting a master's, starting a PhD program, and now working to counsel and take care of others.
Who cares what education she's doing? Seriously, who cares? Who cares if she's getting a master's and a PhD program and all? Who cares? Do you care about if RG3's wife is doing all that stuff? Who cares? Seriously. This is not a shot at his wife, but why did you have to throw that in to your apology, what's supposed to be, and eventually will become your apology to RG3 and to his wife? Why does any of that have anything to do with it? Who cares?
Might I add, RG3 wife has sold a record number of booty bands because of the publicity that she's been getting.
That video was funny. That video was funny.
What is that? What's a booty band?
The mini bands, exercise mini bands. The ones you put on your legs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but like that can't be a new thing. Those have been out for a while, right?
Those have been out for centuries. I mean,
right. So I'm like,
been out for years. But yeah, so they did a little video, and it was a little quirky video, being corny and funny. And
okay. Yeah. Hey, I guess you take advantage of it, right? Take advantage of the publicity.
All publicity is good publicity. Depends on how you move it.
We know a guy who believes that wholeheartedly. All right, let's go back to the to the clip.
Think she deserves, she does not deserve the hate that she got because of me. To her, to my children, I am sorry. I have to start to think about how my words impact, who they impact, and the effect of the fallout on you guys. So that leads me to Greta Griffin. Let me say this before getting into reasoning, before getting into thought process. She should not have been brought up in me trying to make a point about how having Black women close to you and the things that you learn from them can help you in the way that you approach and speak to and about. She didn't need to be the illustration of that. I could speak positively about what they are without making the insinuation that it's something that non-Black women don't do well.
All right, so I'm just going to reiterate. And again, you guys can watch my in-depth thoughts on this from the last live that we did, but I'm going to reiterate. Ryan Clark is pretty much pushing a falsehood here when it comes to that whole business of RG3 not being aware or not having the discussions in his home. Because again, one, you don't know what he's talking about in his home. He has 4 Black daughters with his white wives, right? So we know that. And I say Black because although they're biracial in America, Americans created the 1-drop rule. I didn't. So being biracial makes you Black. So cool. Now, that said, he has 4 daughters who are Black women or eventually will be Black women, right? So you're telling me that's something that he's never had to discuss with his wife? He RG3 is Black on both sides. He has a Black mother. He has Black grandmothers. He has Black cousins. He has Black aunts, Black nieces, right? 2 Black sisters. Are you telling me RG3 has never had these discussions with any of them? He's never heard this being discussed in his family? We got to stop this. But again, Ryan Clark knew what he was doing. He was very slick with the way he approached this because he knew that most of Black America was going to be on his side when he framed this a certain way. It is ridiculous. That's my thought. Y'all got anything on that before we go back to the clip?
No, you said you hit it on the nail.
Gee, I know you probably disagree with that. What you think, man?
I'll wait till the end. I give my thoughts on this.
No doubt.
I'm doing the exact same thing, or it may have seemed that I did the exact same thing to her that I'm trying to keep people from doing to Black women. My thought process was in seeing certain clips on my algorithm, on my timeline, they do a podcast together. In that podcast, they talk very openly about not being Black enough. They talk very openly about biracial kids, what it's like to not be accepted in the Black community. They very rarely talk about Black women. In the video that RG3 posted that I felt like mocked Angel Reese, she was in the background. Then I love the optics of RG3, a Black man, attacking and imitating, and what I felt insulting, mocking a Black woman as his wife was in the background, almost seemingly as a prop of, and this is my feeling, of what was good, amening, nodding along, and applauding what I felt like was a personal attack. I didn't, but that doesn't mean because I have that feeling about what you do to someone else, I can do that to you. So to Greta, I was out of line. I was out of bounds. I apologize. To all of the people that don't like RG's take or takes or the way that he moves, or even if you just in this conversation take my side and want to support me, leave his family alone. It doesn't take a daily attack on his wife, on his children to remind him that you think his take, his takes, or whatever it is the wrong thing to you.
Real quick, again, why did he feel the need to go through all of this instead of opening up? Hey, obviously you guys are aware, myself, RG3, Robert Griffin III, been going back and forth, and I want to be forthright, upstanding. I want to get in front of the microphone here, and I want to tell all of you, very simply put, I was wrong in bringing Robert Griffin III's wife into this. No matter how I felt about it, or no matter how I felt about his commentary, that is something that there's no place for. His wife should not have been involved. By involving his wife, it indirectly involves his children. While I didn't name them specifically, I know that as a public figure, when you get called out, it affects all the members of your family and everyone in your close circle. So I want to apologize for that. Like, why did he have to go through all of this? Again, he thinks he's slick. He's trying to still curry sympathy while giving what I believe to be an insincere apology. But let's go ahead and let's continue the clip. I can't wait to hear what you guys say.
Families should be off limits. I started that by bringing her into it. I see that no matter what my intent was, the impact was different. If I had to do it all over again, I would do it a different way. And in doing it all over again, instead of pointing to what non-Black women can't do or don't do, or the conversations I don't feel like they can have, I should have pointed to what having a positive Black woman in the household could do.
All right. So that's the end of it. And I will just wrap up my thoughts on it. Once again, the biggest part of this whole thing to me is his own blatant hypocrisy of clearly having been with a white woman at some point before with his biracial child. So, pot meat kettle, right? Not cool at all. And again, he doesn't know what conversations they are and are not having. And think about it. RG3 could have theoretically, by nature of him having black daughters with these white women, he could have taken his wife, or, even when they were dating, girlfriend, fiance, he could have taken them around his family and said, hey, these are some of the things we want to talk about. She's open to hearing. Let's try and, would you guys kind of have some discussion? You don't know that none of that happened. So this is why I'm so irritated with Ryan Clark making that commentary. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to leave the floor to you, gentlemen. Let's go.
G.
Yes, sir.
Your take, your thoughts, your opinion. Ryan Clark's apology, was it sincere to you, or was it more flabbergastic behavior to cover up the airwaves on the network that he works on?
So Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark, whole ordeal, white versus black, and then it turned into, I'm blacker than you because I have a black wife, right? Corniest shit ever, right? But it's entertainment. It's entertainment, and so it moves the needle for what's that, ESPN, and it also gives some relevance to RG3 since he's been on the bench. I didn't give it too much. Attention. I like what Cam said on 4th and 1. He kind of did a real good job of breaking things down for me and letting me understand it. Like, it's just entertainment. Like, these dudes are just pushing the narrative. Are they doing it in the right way? I think leave the women out of it, right? Leave the women and the children out of it. If you guys got like an open beef, then y'all should handle it. And that's what it sounds like. They had an open beef. So 250,000 viewers. That's a nice amount of followers, right? Like, I wonder how many followers did he have prior to, but that's no there. Like I said, black versus black. I'm black. RG3 is black. Ryan Clark's black. They both played professional football. Very, very successful with their career. And I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Like, all this other back and forth and shenanigans about, I'm blacker than you, and you blacker than me, and my black family got this, and your half family, and half. At the end of the day, everybody's just trying to make it, bro. That's it. Everybody trying to make it. And these circumstances or these types of rifts just cause something that shouldn't be there in the media, right? Because now you took away from which was a duel between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and you made it about yourself and your family. Like, that's media strong arm. That's what I'm gonna call it, media strong arm. But that's pretty much my thoughts, man. If I had to roll it up, I'd just say, there's two brothers fighting over who's blacker than the other.
Which is that stance is so exhausting. How can you, being black isn't something you can put in a measuring cup.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something you can put in a glass and be like, this glass is bigger than this one. But not like that.
Right.
What does it mean? I'm blacker than you. What does that really freaking mean?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Right? How are we measuring how black you are to another person? To another black man, I'm blacker than you because my wife is full-blood American black.
Okay.
That's how much blacker I am than you. Blacker than black. She's full-blood American black. What does that mean?
Right.
What am I saying to you? Your wife is clearly black. She's clearly, if she gets pulled over in 1912, it don't matter where she's from. It don't matter how black she's black. Mm-hmm. She's black. End of story. Done deal. You get treated the same as the rest of the black people on this earth. So why do we as black people measure how black you are to somebody else? That doesn't matter. You're black. Yeah. Your views are your views. Your opinions are your opinions. Who you want to do, bro? That's you. That's up to you. Yeah. I don't have to do what you do. What you eat don't make me shit. Last time I checked, right? So I truly do hate that people tend to force their more blackness or being more black. I can't even put my quotations in the screen because I'm so small now. Putting your blackness against my blackness, like, bro, that doesn't make sense, man. Like, we all grow up in different. A lot of things go into you being an adult and being the person that you are. Your upbringing, your the area that you're in, the parents that you have, the mentors that you have, the friends that you have, the educational system that you have, the church that you go to, the books that you read. A lot of things go into you being the person that you are. None of that deters your blackness. None of that changes your skin complexion. There's actual procedures for that. There's actual procedures for that. Ask Sammy Sosa, ask Michael Jackson. There's procedures for that. That doesn't change my skin. That doesn't change the fact that I'm black. I am black. The day I was born, I'm black. The day I die, prayerfully, I'm going to be black.
Right.
Hey, brother,
unless I go through one of those procedures.
That's a low T conversation they having, man.
You might be right.
But this wasn't Ryan Clark. It wasn't. It's like RG is a clown. This whole skin without skin color of the ball. RG3 is a clown. Have you seen the hoagie thing yet, Bruce?
I forgot to check, man. I forgot to check. You told me about it. I'm like, huh? Yeah, I forgot.
RG3 is hilariously corny. Sometimes he can be fun. It's like, okay, I get it, but sometimes it's like, RG3, like, what is you doing, bro? Like, it's like you. It's like
just a little different, man. That's all.
It's like he was that kid who grew up and he was like getting clowned on, and then he finally felt like he learned how to play football. He turned so good at it. So now he's like, yeah, I'm good at football. So like everything I say is funny. People laughing at you because you gonna make it, bro. They're laughing at you because you're rich.
Yeah, if you suck, they'd be like, man, get out of here.
Yeah, like, get out of here. You cornball, get out of here. But bro, you good at football, bro. You gonna make it to the league, bro. We're gonna laugh at these jokes because we're gonna try to leech off of you when you get up there. Yeah, that's how he acts to me.
Yeah, I got you, man. I got you.
But
yeah,
anyway, man. Back I mean, don't mean to cut you off.
No, you good.
Measuring blackness to me, that just isn't fair to us as black people. Stop doing it. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's dumb. There's nothing you can't put black in a measuring cup. You can't put black in a measuring cup.
What's the metric? And who's the arbiter of what's black enough or what's, what is blackness? Like, it's so stupid to me. But
it's extremely dumb. It's extremely dumb. But to his apology, man, like I said, I'm not the one to judge intent. How you apologize, Bruce. I know you said what you said about if like this is what I would have said, but your name's Bruce Hope.
Facts.
At the end of the day, your name's Bruce Hope. That's how you would apologize.
Yeah, that's how I would.
I can't measure your apology against his when he's Ryan Clark, right? Now, if I grew up with Ryan Clark and I've seen him apologize so many times and I can see the sincerity, I can see how he words things, then I could probably have a little bit more judgment. But me on the outside looking in, I'm not going to be the one to judge what type of how or the intent, the sincerity of his apology. He apologized at the end of the day. Hopefully RG3 family and Greta and his daughters and stuff like that, hopefully they can move on. Hopefully Ryan Clark can move on. Hopefully eventually after this, we can move on. Because again, the true topic of conversation never got spoken about, which is Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. The true topic of conversation never got talked about in that feud between both of them. Never. So why are we here? Why are we to this point to where now we're discussing you guys as family? You guys are both retired.
Yeah.
Bianca and Ryan Clark, they're 45, 46 years old. RG3, you're what, late 30s, about to push 40s, maybe. You know what I mean? So, like, bro, y'all are out of the league. You're not even involved in WNBA basketball. You're not even basketball players. You're former NFL stars. Right? Yeah. You know what I mean? We're talking about y'all wives, the older women, before we're talking about the young women who 23, 24, and Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Why are we talking about y'all?
That's a great point.
Why are we talking about y'all, man? But yeah, that's my take, man. Bruce, I'll let you wrap it up.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was the whole thing.
Wins when the family feuds.
Nobody wins when the family feuds.
Ooh, that's a bar. That's a bar, G.
That's Hov.
I'm writing that down. Is it?
That's Hov, yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, it's still a bar, though. I'm not a whole fan, but it's still a bar. I rock with it. Okay. That's tough. But yeah, man, like I think that,
that's sad that you didn't know that. That's cool. You saw New York and you didn't even know that? That's Hove, bro. That's like one of the gods of New York.
We're going to digress real quick, man. I haven't been a Hove fan for a very long time, probably since like the second album. Like I didn't like the direction that it was going.
Basic training.
Don't work for me.
So you stopped after Blueprint 1?
It's been a long time. I didn't even like that one. Yeah,
man, we used to have so many debates on AIT about
did
how he was biting everybody rhymes, man. That's a good time.
But no, man, this whole thing was crazy, and you're right. But I did think it was interesting. The same way people are saying, Edward, that RG3 was looking for sympathy by talking about his family. Is Ryan Clark not looking for sympathy now when he brought up his wife and his family through his apology? Was he not? I thought that was very interesting. But yo, let's open up the lines. We're gonna take 2 calls, and then keep it moving. So whoever gets in, gets in. We're gonna take 2. All right.
Oh my God, nobody gets in like that. Not on Jesus.
He said, "Come one, come all." Pause.
Come one.
Whoa. Yeah, that was 904-219-82.
Nobody win when the family feuds. Let's go back to that.
Yes, nobody wins in the family feuds. Yeah, I never heard that before. That's good. That's a bar. Yeah, no calls on this. I thought I saw someone in the chat say that they wanted us to take calls.
444, right? Yeah, 444. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Nino, what's good, brother? Good morning.
What's up with y'all feeling, man? Good morning, man.
How you doing, man?
Hey, I like what everybody's saying, but I think y'all missing one. I'm gonna put something in y'all ears though. I want to ask y'all a question. Is any one of y'all on Twitter by chance? Social media?
Yeah. I'm on that.
You on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm on IG. Yeah. TikTok.
Okay. Cause see now this what you said about the families, right?
Mm-hmm.
About people getting attacked. We talked about RG3 said his family. Then we talked about Ryan Clark's family, right? But what about the way when Ryan Clark said what he said, Angel Reese was being attacked for something other than basketball? The people, this what see you from you know what I'm saying? We from a place before social media, so we can kind of tune it out. But even now, it's hard when people is adding you all day and they're attacking you for something other than basketball. Oh, you nasty, you hate you. You
can turn that stuff off, right?
I was about to say you can turn off your mentions, turn off your notifications.
See what I'm saying? This y'all being old school. We gotta be realistic here now. We see y'all saying something.
They do it all the time these days.
Is it fair game or not? That's what I'm saying. Everybody can turn it off. If we gonna be real or we ain't gonna be real.
Okay. That's
so
fair.
I feel like it's a responsibility. I keep talking about the old. I remember when Sports Center wasn't back there before the hot tape shows and debate.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been a more responsible way RG3 broke down what you said. Like, I agree with what Bruce said. There's nothing wrong with a hate rivalry, but explain that and make it in basketball. What might be you are Transformer said that. Break it down and make it a basketball term. The way RG3 said, like, she hates Clayton Clark, real life, she's just a hateful person. And so the comments and the attacks come, that's what I think Ryan Falk was trying to express.
You know what, Nino? I agree with that. That's a good take, man. I agree with you.
So that's why I think that, because I was reading, I'm like, I think he told, because at first I'm like, what's wrong? Why they gotta like each other?
Right.
But
Agreed.
the way a certain group was commenting on there, oh, you nasty, she just a hateful, she hate people, they always hateful. I'm like, damn,
well, I will say this. I'll say this, Nino. I think hate is a strong word, but I really don't think that Angel Reese likes Caitlin Clark. I don't think she likes her at all. And I don't think Caitlin Clark cares too much. That's my opinion.
Well, we seen them play together in the All-Star game, and they was ready for it. They talk about it. That ain't real hate. Now, when you play against somebody, see, that's different. With the way the people, I agree with the hate that you describing. A rivalry side, Baltimore Steelers.
Right.
But the way the people come in, the way RG3 broke it down, you would think that they really personally got real hatred, street hatred. Like, she just hates, and she hate Angel Reese is just hateful, just dirty, hateful. This is the way the people is commenting on it when he made that comment. So that's why he got the backlash he got.
So you know what? I got the fix for all of this. My bad, Nino. Go ahead, man.
Well, go ahead, Bruce.
No, I was just gonna say I got the fix for all of this. The fix to kill this whole thing. Angel Reese, get in the damn gym, fix your broke jumper, start making layups, do better. That fixes.
Whoa! Hold on. We not gonna do that.
That fixes all of it.
Angel Reese. No. You know how many bums it is in the NBA? How many bums?
That ain't fair, Bruce.
That ain't bums in the NBA making way more money than her.
No, but
less skill.
This is not about the money though. The real issue is this: Angel Reese is upset because of the stuff with Caitlin Clark, right? So cool, that's fine. We get it. Rivalry. Hold on, no, it's not lazy because
blazing at the all-time finest, man.
If you were better, if you being Angel Reese was better and provided. And Caitlin Clark as a player wasn't running away from you in terms of what she is doing on a professional level, you would have more of a leg to stand on. You would be less irritated. Get better and come back, and we don't have this problem anymore.
They don't even play the same position, Bruce. They don't even play the same position, Bruce.
Yeah, but that's not the issue, though.
Two different players, bro. Like that's
media matching them against each other. Be better at what she does. I understand they two different players who don't play the same position, but she got to get better at what she does. She's shooting.
Braun and Steph never played the same position. We pin them against each other.
22%. No.
I don't care if she can be more or not, bro.
So the only thing
I don't think they don't stop the hate. No, the hate ain't about the game. No, it's about her attitude.
What are we expecting from her? She made it to the league, bro.
Look,
never make it there.
And also, here's the other thing. I talked about this on the show. Nino, thank you for the call, man. I'm gonna let you go.
Sorry, Nino, my bad, bro. I ain't mean to hijack this up. But nah, man, y'all gonna have to lay up off for Angel, man. Like for real.
No. Did Jack Johnson? Hold on. Did Jack Johnson get death threats when he was the best fighter in the world? Yes or no?
Yep.
I'll answer that for you. No. I'm gonna get there. Yeah. Muhammad Ali get death threats. Was he hated? Like really legitimately hated?
I don't understand.
Robinson, especially when you go to the military. Yep.
I'm not understanding what you're saying, bro.
I'm about to get
this was about basketball.
I'm about to get there. Hold on. This is very simple. We need to stop and the media, whoever it is, needs to stop acting like Angel Reese is the first athlete who ever had it hard. Or whoever got hated on. Plain and simple. Because I guarantee you, she ain't facing what they faced. So get better, get in the gym, dominate.
Bro, like what that has to do with anything, yo? That's the problem, man. You can't measure two different people up against each other. Yo, like that pass was different. She made it to the league, bro. She's an NBA basketball player. That's true. NBA basketball player. Just like a lot of NBA players, man, that just get on through track and field, man. Like it's no big deal, man. Like she broke the record for doubles, right?
Okay, cool.
All right. Then don't she got the NCAA championship, right? She got accolades, man. So all right.
There's a lot of NBA players that have NCAA championships too. But go ahead. Christian Braun got an NCAA championship. Do you talk about him?
Say what?
Who?
There you go. Christian Braun that plays for the Denver Nuggets.
I thought you said Chris Brown. I'm like, no, you don't.
Now I bring it up to say
Angel Reese, yo. Like
no, because you just
Angel Reese playing the four, yo. You talking about Angel Reese playing the four, and you blazing Caitlin Clark like she played the four. She don't play the four, bro.
First of all, I'm not glazing nothing. I'm not glazing.
You blaze all the time on Caitlin Clark.
Who's the better player? Let's do this. Who is the better player in the WCF?
She's a better shooter.
She's a better player.
All right, you got it.
She's not a better rebounder.
This is not a
rebounder.
She passes the ball better.
That's what I'm saying. We failed in neglect and realized like who is checking her 90% of the time she's on the court. The two guard.
How's that her
point guard? How is it who fault?
How's that Caitlin's fault? She busting it. Like, there's been plenty of point guards in the league before she got there.
How is it Angel Reese's fault? That's what I want to know. Why is she?
She's missing. She's the one that's missing, not Caitlin.
It is okay. Let's keep Caitlin Clark out of it. They're not the same player. They don't play the same position.
They played each other. Yo, like
Angel Reese is shooting 22% from the floor. There's no getting around that.
All right. Okay.
All right. Cool. So
what do you want me to say, bro?
There's nothing for you to say. You can't say anything to that. You want to defend her, and I get it. But the fact is, all this goes away if she just gets better. Plain and simple. That's it. Get in the gym, Don't worry about us.
It's
Get
the first full year in the WNBA playing, yo. Like, of course she's gonna get better.
I believe that. I have acknowledged that. But
she don't play the two.
I
So
didn't say
match her up against another four.
Neither does
Match her up
Caitlin
against
Clark,
another
by the way.
four. Match her up against another four.
Well, what did she
Stop
do
trying
against the
to-
other fours?
No,
She
disagree,
shoots
man.
22%
Like,
against the other fours. So what are you saying? What are you
how can
saying?
you say that? Yo, this is only like the third, fourth game in the WNBA that they played, bro.
I'm not talking about just against Caitlin Clark. I'm talking about in the league. She don't play every game against Caitlin Clark, right? Right?
Of course not. The point of the matter is like why does the league constantly pin those two together? Like it's like Bonnie and like you can't talk about one without
Bird
the
and
other.
Magic.
Wait,
It's
I was
the
just
same
about to say,
concept.
Bird and Magic
play the same position. They
They
didn't.
say damn near the same size, bro. Like, what are you saying?
But they still play
don't play
different
the same
positions. You
position.
didn't now size. You just
Right,
changed
right.
it.
See, moving the goalpost is all good.
One was a point guard, one was a small forward.
So one got in the lead for scoring, the other got in the lead for rebounding. What are we talking about? They were like, I don't understand. Y'all acting like she been shooting a three the whole fucking game. Like, no, that's not her game, bro. That's her. She inside. That's her game inside.
She's not that good at it right now.
She's not even good at that. She is a dominant rebounder, but that's it.
Okay.
Tell me what else does she do besides that? What
That's
else
her story,
does she
bro.
do? Huh?
That's her story. Maybe that's her story.
What else does she do besides that? That's my question to you. I know you want to protect her. What else does she do?
No. I'm gonna go back to your girl, Caitlin. Caitlin is
No. You're talking about
shooter, yo.
Didn't you just say we're talking about Angel Reese? Why are we going back to Caitlin Clark? You just said we're talking about Angel Reese. Why are we going back to Caitlin Clark now?
I'm not going to overtalk you, so I'll say this, yo. Like, Angel Reese has been known to get double doubles. That's her thing, yo. 10 and 10. 10 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
When she get hot, that's her thing. Double double.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's all we saw right now. Did we see her shooting threes? No, we had.
Actually, we do. She just misses them. But go ahead.
Okay, all right. Everybody get a
She
shot.
does.
The thing that I'm saying is, there's a lot more. There's a lot of other people that's in the NBA that plays the same way she played, but don't get the death threats and the scrutiny that she gets. And I don't know. If
also asking for the glamour and the glory, though, bro. She's not being. That's not being
the glory. What you asking for?
She's all over social media. She's always in the topic of conversation. She's always in the limelight. What do you think is going to happen if I'm always in the limelight?
Why can't she be in the limelight?
Nobody said she can't be in the limelight.
Nobody said she can't. I'm just saying, you're going to be criticized if I see you all the time. If you're in the commercials, she has commercials for the WNBA, does she not? Does everybody else in the WNBA have it?
What's wrong with that?
So you're set to a standard when you're doing these things, bro.
We know who dominates the WNBA, and it's not Angel Reese.
Angel Wilson,
right?
yes, we know it's Angel Wilson.
Absolutely, it's unfair to her to get this type of scrutiny, and nobody talking about Angel Wilson because she a dog. Nobody talking about her.
Can I just say,
you're changing the conversation?
That I have said on numerous occasions on this show that Angel Wilson is the best women's player in the world. I've said that on numerous occasions.
I'm not, bro. I'm talking, yo. I'm just talking. That's all. I'm talking from my point of view, yo. I don't care about how nobody else feel, how nobody else think, man. I just believe that this young lady should get more respect than what she get. Now, her shoot percentage is down, but she made it to the WNBA. It should be definitely a thing to celebrate, man. Like, and not only that, she definitely lead the league in double doubles last year.
Yes, she leads the league in double doubles.
All I'm saying, bro.
That's all I'm saying. And that's cool. And we acknowledge that she's an incredible rebounder. We acknowledge that, but it's real interesting how we continue to look past the fact that Angel Reese on multiple occasions has said that she embraces being the villain. If you embrace being the villain, you know that vitriol is going to come with that. So why do people have to protect you from that?
I've never seen that, and I think we can go back and forth every day and talk about these things because we don't see it the same way, and I don't think we will, and that's fine. It's okay. Two things can be right.
Right.
Hey, whatever that is, turn that down.
That's kind of how I look at it, bro. Ain't no need to carry this conversation on any further because certain things I don't care too much for. I think sophomore slump. She going through a sophomore slump. It's her second year, which is common. A lot of players go through it. But anytime somebody can leech on and just talk bad about somebody, they seem to like to do it. And I don't understand why they don't talk about those things when it comes to other people. That's why I said it was
right.
the Caitlin Clark glazing, because nobody talked about her getting stripped the last second and crying full foul when it was a clean block at the end. Nobody talked about
it was a foul, but that's a different thing. But
it
what I
wasn't
will say, to your point, 10 turnovers. Caitlin Clark is the only player in NBA WNBA history with 10 turnovers in a game, and she's done it twice now. There's no excuse for that, none whatsoever. So great point. All I said, I will say, I don't hear you complaining about other people in sports in the past or in the present have facing vitriol. I just don't understand this need that so many people feel to cape up for Angel Reese. Again, someone who has said on multiple occasions she's good with being a fill-in. So what that mean?
Yeah, people like to, cap up. You know how people get, growing up like, hey man, she fine though, bro.
Yeah.
Yada. Give her a little slack. She cute.
Mm-hmm.
almost basketball.
Let's and great point, Chief. It is only 2 games in. But if we're real though,
we're not even gonna talk about Dirty Finger, yo. We're not gonna talk about Dirty Finger.
No, we definitely not talking about that. What's wrong with you?
This is the modern Dirty Finger, man.
No,
that's all it is, bro. It's the modern Dirty Finger, man. That's
you tell Transform about that later. We're definitely not doing that. All right. So let's go ahead and move to the next topic, man. All right. So if you guys are aware, now we have another thing brewing. I don't know how far it's going to get or how long it's going to go, and it is regarding David Falk, NBA super agent. Huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, all right. NBA super agent. Past NBA super agent David Falk, who among his clients had Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, and others. Right. Arguably one of the best agents ever, and of course now we have current NBA super agent Rich Paul, who has LeBron James and a number of other outstanding players and people in other sports as well. So arguably, can we say arguably probably like the 2 best agents of all time? Rich Paul and David Falk. Can we say those are arguably two of the probably, right?
Yeah. They're in a conversation. I mean, they held 2 of the biggest superstars in the NBA.
That's right. Who've ever done it? No question. All right. So, not Rich Paul. David Falk was at what was this event called last? He was at the Sports Business Journal. I can't remember what the event was called, but the Sports Business Journal was hosting something, and David Falk was giving some commentary. I couldn't find the sound, but I do have the transcript of it. And this was interesting. I guess he was asked, of course, about LeBron and whatnot, and because he was talking some stuff about Michael Jordan. So, of course, eventually somebody's going to ask about the GOAT debate, right? So he was asked about it, and he said, of course, Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. And then he said he was asked if LeBron James is in his top 10, at which point David Falk replies, probably. I really like LeBron. But I think if Jordan had cherry-picked what teams he wanted to be on and 2 other superstars, he would have won 15 championships. So that was like, damn, that was mic drop, right? Also, by the way, he said his number 2 all-time would be either Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Kobe Bryant. I'm okay with that. I don't have Kobe at number 2. I don't have him that high. I think I have Magic at number 2 and Kareem at number 3. By the way, it disgusts me to see that there's 4 freaking Lakers in my top 10, but that's beside the point. Hey, man, I give due where it is. But yeah, so.
How many in your top 10, bro?
Nobody wants to see that, man.
How many in your top 10? Say it again.
Man, 4, man. 4. If you consider Wilt the Laker, because he wasn't really there that long. If you consider that.
Put on the uniform. He put on the uniform.
Anyway, right. He did put on the uniform. Real talk, LeBron has been there, 6 years now? 7?
7.
I still don't consider him a Laker. I don't know why. Do you?
I will always consider him a Cavalier.
That's what I think, too. I think so, too. Now, granted, hey,
but he's been long enough to.
Yeah, no doubt. It's just, it doesn't, when I think about the great Lakers, for some reason, it doesn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, because his prime wasn't there. His more so the end of his career is there.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have the same stench on it that he did with his takeovers in Cleveland, his takeovers in Miami.
Right. Gee, you think of LeBron as a Laker? I know I'm digressing a bit, but just.
I mean, if we look at like the.
If you gotta do that much,
answer
probably no.
But no. If you look at the amount of money he invested in that center, having pizzas and all that, the deals that he made, like for himself, right? I think that was probably one of the most lucrative deals that we ever seen a player get, as though he took over concessions.
With the Blaze Pizza, okay.
Yeah, with the Blaze Pizza. So, no, I don't know. We can't say what he's a Cav, right? He's
That's I see him as a Cav also.
I see him as a Cav.
I see him as a Cav, then a Heat, then a Laker. And that's, again, that has nothing to do with the Laker piece. It just, when I think about the great Lakers, for whatever reason, he doesn't really like pop up there for me. Anyway, so David Falk, I'm gonna read his quote again. When asked, is LeBron James in his top 10, he says, probably. I really like LeBron, but if I think if Jordan had cherry picked what teams he wanted to be on and two other superstars, he would have won 15 championships. Now, obviously, we know he was being silly when he talked about 15 championships.
Okay.
No, okay. I mean, come on, man. Okay. We know that's hyper.
Because y'all get on LeBron all the time. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven. Now we can. Okay, man. He said 15. Like that's let me just ask you bit ridiculous.
You really think that? I'm asking you, Transformer. Do you think that David Falk believes Michael Jordan would have won 15 championships if he had cherry picked his team?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
I'm saying it was a hyperbolic statement. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, do you think LeBron not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six? Like he just kept going.
He was going to go on a crazy run. I think he thought he was going on a crazy run.
I think if he would have stayed at one place, he would have had more rings at the end of his career.
I think so too.
Same place, same coach, and then just bring the players to him.
In Cleveland?
Anywhere he went. I mean, that guy is a generational talent, and all you gotta do is just play chess and put the pieces around him. Nobody's gonna be able to. So that's the thing. Like I think people fail to realize the reason why Mike was so successful is because he stayed at one team, for his entire tenure in the NBA, and then he was able to move pieces based off of who was the top team in the league that he needed to beat, and those pieces came to him. And so I think that's what
the competition got old first.
That's what made him so successful was because he was able to stay in one place, have a scheme that they mastered, and be able to, and nobody else could do anything with him. That was pretty much. Everybody didn't get old. There was some top tier talent that came in the league.
The teams that he couldn't beat that got old. That's what I'm saying. The Celtics got old. Detroit got old. Them the two teams that's not busting his behind before he got there.
That's the franchise fault. That's not his fault.
No, it's not his fault.
I'm not saying it's his fault, but you're saying like he stayed there and like they just got better and they sent to the top. No, but it took the other teams to get older.
No, yes, that's what happened. Like they couldn't beat him. Like these are professional players, bro. Like I don't know how to say this, man, but it definitely took the black cat. He still had to do what he had to do. But as you saw, like towards the end, he was doing that his entire career. Even against a Vince Carter, all the new kids, he was really like getting at him. I watched this documentary about him and Kobe, him passing the torch to Kobe, not LeBron, Kobe. Him passing the torch to Kobe, where he bust Kobe. Let me stop. Pause. So he destroyed Kobe one game, and then they said Kobe stopped talking for like 2 weeks, bro. He said he ain't say nothing to nobody for 2 weeks.
I remember that.
And then the next game he gave Kobe 55,
no, he gave Mike 55.
Yeah, no,
Kobe gave Mike 55. Kobe gave Mike 55. Yeah,
right.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think that's the difference between it. Anyway, go ahead.
I mean, the passing the torch to, that's something that's supposed to happen. But I can't really say what LeBron should have did in his career because that's his career. I'm sure he probably made the most money an NBA player could ever make in uniform. So he maximized his revenue as a player.
Only active billionaire as a player.
Yeah, part of that is timing, where the TV contracts were when he played and all that. So I respect it. I can't take
that from him. But the rings is I'm a firm believer that if you build something and you're able to repair, that's why you will get that dynasty. that they have, because you're not flip flopping your coaches every 1 or 2 years. You're actually playing in the system. That's all.
Nah,
That's my
agreed.
2 cents.
No, absolutely. Agreed. Edward, real quick, man. I'm gonna throw something in the chat here. What I don't like is when people talk about MJ at the end with Washington. So when y'all get a chance, watch that. We set the record straight. But anyway, so let's getting back to the topic at hand.
YouTube. I was like, there's a series about him playing at Washington.
No. That was something I took care of real quick. Because people like to lie. Anyway, so I thought it was interesting though that David Falk said LeBron is probably in his top 10, because you got so many people that are like, oh, LeBron is definitively number 2, which I'm like, that's absurd. I have never seen that. And LeBron, regardless of all he's done, to me is still just outside of my top 10. But that's a whole different show and a whole different discussion. Yes, he is.
That's crazy.
I mean, well, I can't put him ahead of Bird. I can't put him ahead of Magic. I can't put him ahead of Kareem. Obviously not Mike. Can't put him ahead of Kobe. Can't put him ahead of Timmy. Can't put him ahead of Wilt. Can't put him ahead of the great Mr. Russell. Can't put him ahead of Shaq. Nor can I put him ahead of Dream.
Shaq?
And that's not in order, but that's the top 10 off the top of my head.
He's done far more than Shaq. Shaq was just more dominant as a player. But he's done much more than Shaq.
Well, we can have that talk another time. But let's go ahead to Rich Paul. Let's go ahead.
10 is not my top 10 for the record.
That's cool. Yeah, you got Melo in your top 10.
You got Bird in yours. What we saying?
Yeah. And I don't know anybody who knows basketball that's taking Melo over Bird. Like, that's insane. Nobody's doing that.
That's saying, babe, for the record, that's not my top 10. So don't say y'all tripping. No, him. No.
All right. Okay, real quick, y'all. Let's do this. In the chat, is there anybody in the chat who would take Prime Melo over Prime Bird? Just out of curiosity. All right.
That's tough, man. Oof.
That's not tough. Anyway, let's go. Rich Paul. This is him responding to David Falk's comments. This is Rich Paul. So let's do it.
Converse is on. Not Bird with the Converse. Stop playing, bro.
3 times straight MVP.
Yeah,
but
man. Barbecue.
Yes. All right, let's go to Rich Paul.
David Falk said something the other day about LeBron cherry picking, and they was talking about it this morning. And I'm like, that's interesting to use the term cherry picking when, if we're going to make a fruit basket here, maybe I'll sing you one after I leave for having me on the show.
Thank you, Rich.
But the careers of the LeBron and Michael Jordan, it's not apples and apples for a number of reasons. But the cherry picking terminology of it all, coming from someone who literally had John Thompson, Dean Smith, and Mike Krzyzewski supporting his business, putting superstar athletes in his lap. I think he was part of the Cherry Clan. My dad used to sell that candy back in the day. I just thought that was very unfair and a little beneath David Falk for a number of reasons. And so we can't have revisionist history, and we all want to just determine who's the GOAT and who's the best and so on and so forth. But I just thought that was a little beneath David to say that.
So this is interesting. He being Rich Paul is talking about we want to have revisionist history. That's what he said, right? Am I hearing that correctly? He said revisionist history.
That's what he said.
If you go back on my channel, this is so funny. Most of this stuff I've already addressed. I actually did a show, and I think Rich Paul's on the thumbnail, and I think it said he's trying to rewrite history. So y'all might want to go back and check that out when you get a chance. Because Rich Paul and LeBron fans are the kings of trying to rewrite history in order to denigrate Michael Jordan, denigrate Michael Jordan's competition, and anybody that they think could be a threat to their king. So that's very interesting that he would have mentioned trying to rewrite history. You got something, G?
Is LeBron in your top 10?
No.
Moving on.
And I'll table that there.
Well, I was because we were
That's an emotional pick right there. That's an emotional pick. That's emotional. It screams low T. That's an emotional pick.
Nah. I mean, I've explained how many times why he's not, but I mean, as simply as I can put, the guys that are in the top 10 for me, I can't, me personally, in good conscience, put LeBron ahead of any of them. But, you know, it is what it is.
Not know what Rich is referring to is a Sports Business Journal quote from the longtime agent of Jordan saying, I really liked LeBron, but I think if Jordan had cherry picked what teams he wanted to be on and 2 other superstars, he would have won 15 championships.
And again, when you look at that, right? Again, the cherry pick, I've discussed that. The 2 other superstars, Michael never had to leave.
All right, let's stop it right there. Michael never had to leave. Michael never had to leave. Didn't LeBron choose to leave? LeBron didn't have to leave. Like, what is this? Edward.
Oh, my bad. There we go.
Edward, don't. Anyway, so he says Michael, he said Michael never had to leave. So let me ask y'all, did LeBron have to leave? Did he?
Yeah.
Why? He was winning.
There wasn't nothing moving in Cleveland.
He was winning 60 games plus on multiple occasions, had been to the finals already, had been to the Eastern Conference Finals more than once. Why did he have to leave?
Because them folks wasn't doing anything in Cleveland.
You could have said the same
he
thing
went
about
to big market teams too, though. Outside of Cleveland, like all the teams he went to, he played for was big market teams, right?
Yeah.
So
Nobody wanted to come to Cleveland.
Yeah,
I want to go to Chicago.
The amount of money he got.
See, this is so interesting that we say this, but so you could have said the exact same thing about Jordan before he won, that nothing was moving and they couldn't win. They had got beaten in the playoffs by the Pistons either 3 or 4 straight seasons, right? So he could have said, I can't get over the hump, I'm out, right? The same thing was happening, and he hadn't been to the finals yet, right? He hadn't won the Eastern Conference yet, right?
Okay.
So why are we saying LeBron had to go, but Jordan never? And I'm not saying y'all are saying that. I'm talking about Rich Paul, but carry on, gentlemen.
I would say it's different. Why? Because Shaq, I don't know why I said Shaq. Jordan literally waited out Father Time for his adversaries. Detroit Pistons got old.
You say that? Wait. What do you say that again?
I mean, all he had to do was wait out Father Time.
Why? Why are you saying that?
For Detroit and Boston.
Okay, let me stop you. So Jordan's adversaries in the East was never Boston, right? Because Detroit had already put Boston out to pasture. But if we're gonna do the Detroit thing, I gotta keep it a buck with you. See this? I love when y'all do this. You want to know why? Go ahead and tell me. Do you know what was Detroit's average age on that roster when Michael Jordan and the Bulls beat them to ascend to the Eastern Conference Championship?
Why are we doing averages? What are the stars?
No.
Where are the stars?
No. That team was 29 years old on average. 29.
That's easy to do if I'm measuring everybody on a freaking team. Everybody ain't freaking playing in the playoffs.
You waited for them to get old. You said that. So okay, let's do this.
You definitely said that.
Boy, y'all, that's a boy. You moved that
goal
bro.
I was
far
here.
to the mile, bro.
I was here. You said that. You definitely said it. You said the Celtics, though. You was talking about the Celtics.
No, he said the Celtics and the Pistons.
He said the Celtics and the Pistons. The stars of the freaking Detroit Pistons got old.
Okay, Isaiah Thomas in 1990. Do you know how old he was? 29.
Bruce, can I say my topic?
My bad.
Can I finish my discussion? Because now you want to throw in some other stuff.
But I was responding to what you said, and you're I don't want
actually
you to.
You didn't let me finish for you to respond to anything.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, it's like you saying A, B, C, D, and I'm like, boy, you ain't finished the alphabet. You didn't let me finish. You gotta let me finish. You gotta let me finish talking. But to me, a couple of things were different, right? Chicago, big market team, big market city, one of the best, biggest cities in America, right? So, LeBron in Cleveland. I was watching for years, and I can vouch for this because this was during the time I enjoyed watching LeBron play, but towards the end, started disliking him because the Bron Kobe thing started happening. And I'm too big of a Kobe fan to let anybody go against Kobe, right? So this during the time I had my eyes directly on LeBron James for that specific purpose. They wasn't doing nothing in Cleveland for that man. They wasn't no free agents. They played too well, so they couldn't get anything via the draft. They couldn't get anything via the trade. It's Cleveland. Nobody wanted to freaking just come to Cleveland. Like it wasn't like you can go in the offseason and advocate, hey, come to Cleveland. You come to Cleveland, or free agents get signed to Cleveland. So to me, my opinion, no, LeBron staying in Cleveland, bro, he was never going to get anywhere with that team. And granted, yes, they're winning 60 games. That's off the back of him. When the playoffs matter and they can hone in on the reason why y'all winning 60 games. For example, Cleveland Cavaliers this year won 60 games, didn't matter, got bounced, right? Because you can key in on the major guy. It's different in the playoffs. Your wins don't matter in the regular season no more. All that crap goes out the window, right? You go into the playoffs. If I know it's just you, I can hone in on you. You're the focus of this team, and I can stop that, and I can limit everybody else and force the ball to you. Cleveland couldn't get a second guy. They couldn't even get a second guy. Larry Hughes? Larry Hughes was your guy? No.
No. Larry Hughes became less of a guy when he played with LeBron. We've seen this time and
time. And did nothing after that. So bull crap, bro. Bull crap. Larry Hughes was crap.
Go look at what Larry Hughes did prior to LeBron. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, and then when he got with somebody who was about that life, he folded.
All right,
he folded.
You got it. So what I'm gonna say is this. I will keep it. So first, the biggest one I wanted to point to was your falsehood that he had to wait for the Pistons to get old. Isaiah Thomas was 29, not 30 yet. So right in the middle of his basketball prime. If you look up what age is a basketball player's prime, right? It's going to say 27 to 31. So Isaiah Thomas, second best point guard ever, in my humble opinion, was right in the middle of his basketball prime, his athletic prime as a basketball player, right? Yeah, Magic, then Zeke. Yes, no question about it. Now, that said,
because I'll put Curry in there now.
Okay, so
now I would.
So anyway, where was I? You just messed my head up with that one. So
I mean, yes, it's a conversation. I don't care how you think about it, but
all right.
All I said was conversation.
I like how Isaiah Thomas picked the best point guards that ever played the game. He talked about Magic Johnson and somebody else, and he talked about how those guys were like 6'9". There was nothing I could do with those guys on my best day. He was like, but as far as the little guys, the little point guards concerned,
no doubt,
I'm one of one. Huh?
Oh yeah, yes, no question, no question. But so I was saying real quick, transforming my bigger point. Isaiah was 29. Joe Dumars was younger than Isaiah. I think he came out in 84 or 85. So he was at least a year or two younger, right? And those were their top star players. Dennis Rodman was still young. So their key core was not old. So we have to stop this lie.
Where's the anchor at?
The anchor what?
Oh, you're missing the major piece on that team.
All right, let's do this. All right, I got you real quick, and then we'll get back. Damn, we got all sidetracked. How old was Bill Laimbeer in 1990?
I want to say he was a couple years from retirement at that point.
No. Okay, so in 1990, he was 32. So just out of his prime.
And he's big, so them bigs were out quick.
Yeah, but he's 32. So we're talking like these dudes were all 35 and up. That's what I'm saying. It's a false narrative that people like to say Jordan had to wait for the Pistons to get old. I'm always ready for that one. Always ready. That's shut down. Easy work.
Did they not get older?
No, they didn't get old. Bill Laimbeer was the oldest of that prime core, and he was 32. Dennis Rodman was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate at that time. He had already won one.
You're talking about the first championship.
Yes.
The first.
Yes,
the 1990. So they get older as it goes on, bro. That's what I'm saying.
But after the Bulls ascended, and that's why we always talk about Mike being what Mike was. After he ascended, that was it for everybody else. But I'm saying
that's what I'm saying.
You said he had to wait for the Pistons to get old. The Boston
to go on the run. I'm not saying just to win a championship. Period. The six rings, the three-peats, right? His adversaries were gone. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't like they came up with him.
No, I'm talking about to get over the Pistons, right? Because the Pistons beat them 3 or 4 years in a row.
Okay, we're talking about two different things. That's what I'm saying.
You didn't say that. You said, all right, cool. But so anyway, let's go back to it. So anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. This is what happens when we have these passionate sports debates. We love it though. But yeah, so Rich Paul, getting back to it. So first, Rich Paul with his where was the last? Where did we leave off? He
picked. I've discussed that. The two other superstars.
Okay, there we go.
Michael never had to leave.
Right. This is where we left off. Michael never had to leave. Michael could have left, right? We know that he actually heavily considered going to the Knicks. He could have left, right? But he didn't. And this is what I was saying. LeBron didn't have to leave. LeBron wanted to leave because he didn't want to do it the hard way. But let's continue.
Michael's never been the underdog in any finals.
Okay, more lies. Michael's never been the underdog in any finals. Y'all know me. I looked this up before we started. Michael Jordan was a major underdog in the 1991 finals against the Lakers. You know this, Transformer. He was an underdog in that one. He was also an underdog in the finals in 98 against the Jazz. So
really? He was?
Yeah, he was. So this is what I'm saying. Like, this is why Rich Paul pisses me off, because he lies. Him and LeBron, they lie so much. Like, we can't easily reference this stuff. He lies. You got to stop. But anyway, let's continue.
Not one time. Michael never had a 24-hour, 365 news cycle. He never had shows built strictly to criticize him.
Okay, why does he? First of all, he keeps pushing this. Michael never
said
had.
Chicago was favored, bro.
No, I looked it up before we started. I'm
looking at it now. They were favored to win the series against the Jazz, despite the Jazz having a home court advantage. They were minus 115 as favorites.
Hold on, I'm looking at it right now. Hold on. 1998 NBA Finals, Bulls versus Jazz. Bulls were underdogs in some analysis. Is fatigue from their three-point run, internal team tensions, Utah's home court advantage shifted perceptions. Books had
repeat that again.
Books has the Jazz as slight favorites, minus 120 to minus 140 for Utah.
Who Books?
Yeah, the sports books. The sports books had the listing Utah Jazz as slight favorites, minus 120 to minus 140 for Utah. Yeah. That's why I said that. I looked it up before we started. But the point is, Sid Bubba, yes, there is a difference between lying misstatements, but he blatantly said Michael Jordan was never an underdog in the NBA Finals, not once. We know what Rich Paul does. Like, I point this stuff out all the time about what Rich Paul does. I've done multiple shows on it for different commentary that he's made. The dude is a liar. He's a liar. LeBron is a liar. Like, and we've busted them time and time again. I understand the difference between misstatements and lies, but he lies a lot. You know why? What do I always say, Chief? Intent to deceive, and we know that's what these dudes are about. All right, but let's get back to Rich Paul here.
People made millions of dollars criticizing LeBron James. That was their entire job.
So real quick, so I guess he's referencing Skip Bayless here when he's talking about the 24-hour media cycle and shows specifically to criticize him. Skip Bayless never had a show specifically to criticize LeBron James, because if that was the case, he wouldn't talk about other sports and other topics. Now, did he make it his shtick to criticize LeBron James? Absolutely.
Was it his show when he did it?
Well, I guess he was always like one of the main stars of, Cold Pizza, which became First Take, and then First Take, and now Undisputed. So I say to say the whole show wasn't about criticizing LeBron James. So there's the lies again. Now, again, did he make it his shtick to be extremely critical of LeBron? Yes. But to say the whole show was built just to criticize LeBron because they talk NFL, they talk MLB, they talk boxing, Skip talks all these things. So why are we making it, the whole show was created just to criticize LeBron? Like, the lies got to stop, man. They have to. This stuff is so easy to just check. It's so easy to check and do the reference, man. That's what I'm here for. That's why, so many of these other channels, and let me take a second, shout out Man Down Sports, shout out NBO, shout out Sports T, shout out Uncommon Sense, shout out, what's the other one? Well, there's a whole bunch. I know I'm forgetting, but shout out Dreamers Pro. The point I'm trying to make, I'm shouting out all these, right? Because we get called haters, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? You're a hater when you tell the truth. When you put easily verifiable information out there, which contradicts the lies that people are trying to get you to believe, you're a hater. This is absurd. Absurd. That's why, like, when I listen to Rich Paul, I'm just like, yo, do you know that the internet exists and people can check you on what you're saying? Come on, man.
Not so far. I'm agreeing with him. I'm checking out. They were favorites in all these.
Well, I'll cut him. I'll copy and paste it. And
I'll send you some links. I'm looking at these links.
But okay. Even still, if you say fine, Utah, right? He was still an underdog in the 91 finals against the Lakers. That's undeniable. Yeah, guy.
No, I'm reading. Hold on, that's the first championship. First championship, he was minus 200.
No, where am I?
Before the playoffs, he was plus 250.
1991 final. The Lakers, led by Magic Johnson, were the defending Western Conference champions, had a strong playoff pedigree. Vegas odds favor the Lakers, with the Bulls listed at around plus 150 or plus 200 to win the series. That means they're the underdog. Chicago's lack of finals experience and Jordan's narrative as an individual star without a championship yet contributed to this perception. That's what I got.
Something happened against my Lakers. Who got hurt?
Byron Scott.
That's what changed it.
Well, but even still, the odds before the series started, they were the Bulls were the underdog, based on what I have here.
Gotcha.
I'm no gambling expert.
It changed it because of the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
We got hurt that year.
Right. So then back to Rich Paul, he brings up, there are shows devoted to just specifically to criticizing him. So I know he's talking about Skip Bayless, but the thing is, and somebody put in the chat that Skip Bayless made his name off LeBron. Edward, again, not true. Do your research. Skip Bayless was an award-winning sports writer prior to even getting on TV. Now, is television a more powerful medium than print, especially in the last 20 years? Yes, Transformer, absolutely. But that said, we can't act like Skip Bayless didn't do anything in the world of sports journalism prior to getting on TV. So to say he made his name off LeBron, more lies. Made a bigger name off LeBron, I would say. That's fine. But I'm talking about Edwards saying he made his name off LeBron, and that's a lie. All right, let's carry on.
And when you talk about the difficulty of it all, Michael played for Dean Smith, Michael played for Phil Jackson, and Michael had Jerry Krause.
I'm so tired of people talking about Michael Jordan's coaches. First of all, Michael Jordan chose to go to college, right? LeBron could have gone to college. He could have been coached by anybody he wanted. He could have went to Duke and played for Coach K. He didn't want to go to college. So let's not talk about, Michael Jordan played for Dean Smith. Cool. LeBron could have went to college too. So that's a non-issue. Second, Michael Jordan played.
He would have been dumb, but
right, of course. But the point I'm trying to make is it's disingenuous to say, well, Michael played for Dean Smith. Okay. Because, like I said, LeBron could have went. He could have played for Coach K or whoever, Coach Cal or Coach Pitino, whoever it was.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, then here's the other thing. Michael Jordan played for Phil Jackson. Somebody tell me who was Phil Jackson before he coached Michael Jordan. Somebody tell me. I'll wait.
I don't know, but when he got him, he created a system, and Jordan thrived in it.
Well, he didn't create the system.
He
created the system, but he taught the system. But the point I'm trying to make is we act like Michael Jordan walked into some championship level coach already, and that's just not the case. So again, here's Rich Paul with his lies. Like, at what point is this going to stop? And I'm wondering. I was thinking about this as I was prepping this show. When you're interviewing somebody like this and you know they're blatantly lying, how do you push back on the lies without like crushing them? Because you're interviewing them, you invited them on your show, you can't really go that hard. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't think. Like, how do you push back on the lies without totally demolishing them?
Is that a question to us, or are you just talking?
I'm sorry, I was just talking, and I was looking at the chat. Yes, Edward, he was a 2-time championship player. Stop it, Edward. Stop. As a coach, Phil Jackson had not done anything in the NBA prior to coaching Michael Jordan. So stop it. This is what y'all do, man. God. Kareem, what up? Shout out Kareem. In his 22-year career, he's made the playoffs 18 times, has 4 championships. Jordan in 15 years made the playoffs 13 times, has 6 championships. I mean, yeah, here's what it is.
Yeah, team awards, gotcha.
Right. So anyway, let's finish let's go on.
Because the biggest Michael Jordan fan ever. Love Michael Jordan. And I don't think Michael Jordan would have used the term cherry pick. So I'm not up here to discredit Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan transcended our game to a level that we all benefited from.
He says, I'm not up here trying to discredit Michael Jordan. And he just finished doing that.
Because it started off by discrediting his guy. Is he not going to defend his guy? He doesn't have the right to do that?
He can defend his guy.
What did Jesus do about Angel Reese? He defended his girl. He doesn't have the right to do that?
Wait, I talked about comparisons.
And you were defending Angel Reese, bro. You were defending her. Okay. Did he not defend Angel Reese? So we can't give G that respect? Like, hey, bro, he defending his girl? The Baltimore homebound city girl?
No, I did, but I also talked about how y'all glaze Caitlin Clark as well. So
you dissed Caitlin Clark, in our opinion on that, to defend Caitlin Clark. To defend Idris, right?
I didn't diss her. I said she was one of the better shooters we've seen in the league ever.
Go back and rewatch this show. I did not glaze Caitlin Clark. I barely talked about her. You just went nuts. Go back and rewatch the show. Real talk. You'll see.
No, that's a Gen Z term.
Only one person on this show is glazing Caitlin Clark, and he's not even in the chat yet.
Right, he's not in the chat. He definitely glazes Caitlin Clark. All right.
We all know who I'm talking about.
Where you at, Steve?
He's probably in church, man. He's probably at mass, man. Let Steve live. Yeah. So, but no, I say it to say, of course, he can defend his guy, and that's fine. But like I always say, number one, LeBron fans can't ever just defend their guy without attacking someone else. That's one. But number two, hold on one sec, G. It's one thing, you say what you got to say, then you say, I'm not here to try and denigrate or tear down Michael Jordan when you just spent the last 5 minutes doing that. Go ahead, G.
Do you think Mike had a better agent than LeBron?
I think times were different. I don't know. You know what? I can't even speak to it because I don't know anything about that world well enough to make any sort of informed statement. So I can't say.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of the moves that he made was financial. But they had to be financial. I mean, he's a cash cow and he brings seats. And so not only was he the narrative is that he was always chasing rings, but I think also he was chasing money as well. Like, because $500 million as a player is crazy. And then, you know what I'm saying? Another $700 million off the court. You can't make those deals without your agent. So I think he was presented with a plan and he moved forward. That's stuff people don't talk about, but maybe those were the reasons why he decided to take those jumps. And then, everything else came along with it.
Oh, definitely the reason why he went to LA.
Yeah.
He followed the money to come to LA.
Yeah.
Well, I think because he had so many off-court business interests in LA, which again, I respect
that.
Follow
the money, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought
when he came, I was like, oh, he here for the money. He ain't here to win no his goal is to win multiple championships. I mean, he's gonna try, but his major goal while he came to LA, money, baby.
It's production company and everything
Absolutely. Everything he needs. His son could go to school out here, grow his name out here. Absolutely. It was not a basketball decision.
I'm not mad.
No.
And that's why he's like, yo, he don't want to leave because he got so much, and respect for that. Respect to
I don't even know who was Michael Jordan's agent.
David Falk. Yeah, that was the dude.
The one that's on the right of Rich Paul.
Yes, David Falk. Super agent. He was Patrick Ewing's agent and a bunch of other guys too. I think Coach K, Dean Smith, John Thompson, all them guys. All right, but yeah, let's continue. Rich Paul got a little more to say.
Right. And I'm more so focused on less about who's the GOAT and why I can't be at a dinner with those two guys having a great conversation.
More lies. He spends every single interview trying to tell us why LeBron is the GOAT and Jordan is not. And you're not focused on who's the GOAT. Yo, y'all need to go back on my channel and look at the Rich Paul is trying to rewrite history episode. Like all this dude does is lie. Oh my gosh. This is insane.
Or why I can't put, a little bit of money that I've earned into a fund that those two guys have formulated so we can be a part of the deal flow from the Blackstones and the Apollos and the Andreessen Horowitz and things of that nature. And I think that those type of comments is also the reason why people that look like me in my community always think there can only be one king.
Okay. See, this is what I don't like now when people try to start sounding smart and they step out of their lane and they're not. And let me say this. He says,
is he not smart?
Hold on. People, this was a stupid thing to say. People from my community think there can be only one king. So let me give you a brief history lesson, very brief. The Mongol Empire, right, started by Genghis Khan, was the largest contiguous land empire in the history of the world. That empire conquered in 40 years what it took the Roman Empire 400 to do, right? Now, Genghis Khan, there's a famous story about how he took a group of arrows, right? He broke one arrow. He snaps the one arrow. He said, you see this?
Doing, G?
What the hell does this have to do with
that? G, what is he doing?
Y'all not, man, just film me on this.
Gee, what is he doing?
Pause.
We going to a history lesson.
Genghis
Trust me,
Khan.
yes. So,
Genghis Khan.
he breaks one arrow. He says, "You see this?" Then he breaks. He grabs a bundle of arrows and he tries to break it. He can't break it, and he says basically, "You see this? If we stick together, then nobody can take us down, and our empire will continue to expand." Right? I say this to say the Mongol Empire, which is the greatest land empire in the history of the world, without question, they couldn't keep it together. Why? Because you had multiple people trying to fight over who would be the great Khan. So I say this to say this. I don't want to call a name, but this guy, Rich Paul, is trying to sound smart and saying, well, the people in my community believe there can only be one king. Can we name one empire or one kingdom in the history of the world that has had more than one king and has been able to sustain? This is why I brought up the story. That was stupid. It was just
Nobody
dumb.
wins.
When the family feud.
There you go. Exactly. So I say to say, what the hell is Rich Paul talking about when he says, oh, my community believes there can only be one king? Because there can only be one king. There is no successful empire ever that had more than one king. You just can't do it. It doesn't work that way. What up, Mark? How you doing, big
he's
bro?
talking about sports, right?
But
he's not talking about a nation and an economy.
No, he's not talking about sports. No, but
listen,
Transformer, he's not talking about sports because earlier in the clip, like a few seconds before, he was talking about having a dinner with Mike and LeBron and them guys getting money together to put towards something so that they can build something, right? That wasn't about basketball because he was referencing off the court ventures. So I say all that to say it's a stupid statement to say that.
But that statement was referring to the people in the hood. That wasn't about the conversation at the dinner.
Oh my gosh.
Did you not hear what he said? He said people in the hood. People is people. Did he not say that? Or did I mishear?
The people of my community. That's what he said.
Yeah, what does that got to do with the dinner? That's two different things.
No, but do we need to go back so you can hear it? Did I blow your mind with the Mongol thing?
Please don't go back, bro.
I wasn't going to tell that story again. What I was saying was I was trying to make the example of how when you stay together under one leader, then you will have success. But there is no empire, no nation, no kingdom ever that was able to survive with more than one king. And that's what I'm talking about. He's trying to sound intelligent, but he really sounds dumb to anybody that knows anything. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think he sounds dumb. I think you just took the sport of the topic of who a GOAT is in a basketball realm with multiple opinions and objectivity and errors and time and stuff like that. And you're making it about an economy and a nation, a direction, a government. What are we talking about, bro?
Talking about sports is the point. I use the greater example, but he's not only talking about sports. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right.
You totally missed it when he said about the. Let's go on.
Nobody is figuring. We're all together on this. Like trying to figure out where you're going with it.
That's cool. I'm done.
Like,
I'm not going.
It sounds like you're trying to sound smart, but it's like, but not now.
Yo, stop.
We'll continue. It's all good.
Not now.
We'll continue.
And it's forever embedded us as the minority in a lot of places, and why it's so uncommon to see a community of successful Black men. So
that all that he just said, that was about basketball. That wasn't about basketball.
My bad. I didn't even hear. What did he say? My bad. I was just still laughing at the Genghis Khan.
Part of the deal flow.
All right, listen, Catherine. All right, hold on.
Or why I can't put, a little bit of money that I've earned into a fund that those two guys have formulated, so we can be a part of the deal flow from the Blackstones and the Apollos and the Andreessen Horowitz and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that those type of comments is also the reason why people that look like me in my community always think there can only be one king.
Now do you understand what I'm trying to say here? He's not just talking basketball. You still think he's just talking basketball?
Proceed. That's not the part that I didn't hear.
It's forever embedded us as the minority in a lot of places, and why it's so uncommon to see a community of successful black men. So I thought that was very, again, beneath David Falk with all the success he's had and all the cherry picking that he's been able to do amongst the 3 highest level universities there could ever be as it pertains to aligning with the game of basketball. It doesn't get any bigger than Georgetown, North Carolina, and Duke.
I'm sorry, yo. I'm sorry. Transformer, that was a classic, my brother. I'm not even mad. That's an all-timer. That might need to be like a Format Podcast all-timer right there. That was good. Nino, I just finished explaining why it can't happen. It can't happen because it has never happened. It's not possible. It has never happened. But, I mean, I'm not going to give you all no more history lessons. But anyway, so the point is...
All right, bro. Let's try to focus, bro.
Okay. No, I'm laughing because Transformer, that was an all-time classic. That was funny. Sometimes you gotta be able to laugh at yourself, man.
I do.
No, I'm saying me. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about myself right now. Yeah, that was good. Okay. Okay, so real talk. The point is, Rich Paul lies a lot, and it's real easy to check him on his lies. Now, this whole thing about the GOAT argument, what I loved here, I'm not going to break into this too much. Let's hear, now we know Michael Wilbon, legendary sports writer, sports journalist, now ESPN guy, has covered the league for like 40-something years, right?
A long time.
Yeah, Michael Wilbon is a legend in sports media, obviously as a writer. And now, I didn't even know, pardon the interruption, has been the top sports TV show period for like the last 20 years. So, yeah. All right, boom. So let's hear what he had to say, because I thought this was awesome.
Okay, so for those in the room who couldn't hear what he was saying, that's David Falk, who was no longer Michael Jordan's agent, but was forever and will always be thought of that way, saying that he likes LeBron. Any conversation, any statement that starts with, look, I really like LeBron, you know this isn't
with
going,
all due respect,
not going somewhere
yes.
good. It is the classic all due respect. He said if Jordan had cherry-picked where he wanted to go and had 2 other superstars, he would have won 15 championships. The only place to start for perspective. 12. 15's an exaggeration.
Yeah. This is who David Falk is. He's a provocateur on his best day. Okay, he's Michael Jordan's longtime agent. He is that. I'm a neighbor of David Falk and have known him for 45 years. Okay. I've had millions of basketball-related conversations with David Falk. No one should be surprised that David Falk is going out there with the MJ flag. Because if you think that, stop. Just get out of the sports talking about business and go to something else. Now, I hate the conversation because it requires you to say something negative about someone who's truly great and all-time great to make your point. And that's the most tiresome thing about the GOAT conversation. But let me just say this. I'm not going to sit here and say that LeBron James has to be considered better than Magic Johnson. Woo! That's garbage.
Garbage.
I'm not going to say LeBron James has to be considered better than Bill Russell. That's garbage.
Garbage.
I'm not going to say LeBron James has to be considered better than Kobe Bryant. That's garbage.
Garbage.
LeBron James, one of the greatest players of all time in all team sports.
Correct.
I'm sorry, if that's not good enough, turn the page. Get over yourself. So in other words, I'm going to proclaim and support and wave the LeBron James for his greatness. But if I say he's less than number 2, that's not good enough for you, to hell with you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that as in support of David Falk. I'm saying that as somebody who has watched basketball and lived with basketball my whole life. I got to say that LeBron James is better than Kobe Bryant. What? Put me in a grave first.
Mike freaking drop. Mike Wilbon just told it. I love that.
Yeah, that's what happens when you put up for your best friend.
Who's his best friend?
Them boys are tight.
Oh, you talking about old boy? You talking about David Falk?
No, him and Jordan. Wilbon and Jordan close.
But look, he didn't even bring up Jordan because he knows there's no question about Jordan being the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
but you heard
I'll cap up for my best friend too.
You want to, but he didn't even bring up Jordan. So how is he? What does Mike even have to do with this? He said, you trying to tell me he's better than Kobe? Garbage. Magic, garbage. Bill Russell, garbage. Like, it's and this is the same thing I've said, right? So it's the same thing like G thinks I'm crazy because I don't have LeBron in my top 10. Cool, whatever. But the fact is, if I say, hypothetically, if I say LeBron is the 11th best player of all time, I think, roughly 5,000 players have played in the NBA by now, right? In its history. So if I say that LeBron is the 11th best out of 5,000, that's so insulting. Like, that's the crazy part to me. But I will take you guys' thoughts on what Wilbon had to say, then we'll open up the phone lines. Gee, go ahead, man.
I got too much to say about this topic, bro. Okay. I really don't. I thought it was this one man's perspective, what another man said. But
Transformer, what you got, man? Oh, my bad, G. I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Oh, that's it. I'm good. I'm good. Trust me.
My bad. What was the question? I was responding to chat.
Nah, no doubt, no doubt. The question was like, it irks me. Like, it's the same thing that Stephen A talked about, that if you don't have LeBron as the GOAT, people are so offended. And my argument was, even though I have him outside of the top 10, if he's number 11 all time out of more than 5,000 players who've ever played in the league, like, how is that so, you know what I'm saying? Like, how is that so disrespectful or so absurd to people? Like, that's still insanely incredible for an all-time career. And I've said multiple times, he's had one of the best careers ever, arguably the best career ever, besides the losing, which he somehow seemed to overlook. But anyway, go ahead, man.
This is exhausting of a conversation to have. Me personally, y'all know my take. I don't think there's no GOAT. That's just my take. I think that there's great players of great eras. You got the greatest of certain eras, because I can never definitively say, and this is my somewhat of a response to Kareem, because he's saying that there's a champion at the end of the season, there can only be one GOAT. It's false, because I can't sit here and say from there's been plenty of different eras of basketball for decades. It's been a game of 75 plus years. You have multiple different decades. So with those decades comes change in rules, change in stats, change of play, change of players, change of agriculture, change of the account. There's so many changes that go along with the game of basketball. So now we can sit here and say it's not a fair playing, like it's not a fair field. It's not an even field. So comparing what we do now in 2025 compared to what they did in 1970 is completely different. So who am I to say that this guy is so much better than that guy when this guy didn't have and this is to Bruce's analogy that he likes to refer to, didn't have the same playing field, didn't have the same turf, couldn't have the same shoes, didn't have the same doctors, didn't have the same treatment. So how am I to say that there's a GOAT overall of the whole 75 years when overall it was never the same? You know what I mean? It's not like, to me, the GOAT is an answer of who is your favorite player to watch of all time. That's truly what we're getting to now. Who is your favorite player? Who's your GOAT? That's what it is. That's what it is. Calling a spade a spade. That's calling a spade a spade. It's truly who is your favorite of who done the most. That's what I'm seeing. Because people say, okay, it's because Jordan won. Okay, he won 6, but then people bring up Bill Russell. Well, he won 11. Oh, but it wasn't the same. Okay, we'll get to a different conversation. But did you see how he scored the basketball? Well, is he the leading scorer of all time? That doesn't sound like it's him. So then we change the conversation. We change so much about a GOAT debate when it's truly about what do you prefer? Because GOAT is not something you can measure. Can I put Jordan in the same vacuum as Wilt Chamberlain and them boys back in the day? Because I'm pretty sure Wilt Chamberlain would have gave him the business. Pretty positive. Can I put Jordan in the realm of the game now? No, I can't. He's 60 years old. I can't put him in that realm. I can't put him against the same competition to where it's now so free moving that Jordan probably wouldn't have had the same stability that he had in the 90s. Probably would not have, right? There's so much movement going on. So to me, when you're talking GOAT, it's more so who is your favorite. There's no measuring cup for a GOAT.
The only
you
thing
can't definitively say it.
Transformer, I'm with you on like the errors thing and that making it harder to definitively state a GOAT. But I'm not with you on is who's your favorite, because we got clowns saying Paul George is the GOAT. We got people saying Melo is the GOAT.
That's a different conversation. That's
you know what I'm saying?
But you heard the piece where I said the GOAT is out of who done the most. Put that in there. Yeah. Out of who done the most.
Okay.
Last time I checked, Paul George does nothing. Melo's never done nothing. So that's just eliminating them from the conversation.
I mean, so real quick, I could run down you Dreams bona fides, right? His awards, his winning, blah, blah, blah. I can run you down all that stuff. You know, only player to ever retire, top 10 in 4 major statistical categories. Cool. I could do that. That's my favorite player who's done a lot. But who's going to agree with me that Hakeem Olajuwon is the greatest player of all time? Even though if you really look at it fairly, you could probably get him into the bottom of that discussion. But nobody's going to agree with that. So, like, I hear you, but I don't.
You need somebody to agree with you to formulate an opinion?
No.
Opinions. That's all it truly is.
But we've talked about this time and time again. Like, opinions can be wrong. Like, opinions can be absurd.
Who's giving you the answer?
Say again?
Who's giving the answer? Who knows the answer?
I think oftentimes consensus can generally be the answer, right?
I think sometimes it's based off of who you watched, right? Like, did you watch Mike games? Was you there to watch all his games? Probably didn't. Probably before your time. And so Paul George do become your GOAT because that's all you know. We saw the insane reference that Anthony Edwards made, was it last year, about the players before him, right?
Yeah, he didn't watch them and stuff like that.
He didn't watch them, so he wouldn't know. Like, you would have to watch these players to know. I can't go all the way back to, before I was born, before I knew what basketball was, and talk about these guys because I never watched them play. And I don't know how their greatest moments look. I can only look at what I've seen today and say, all right, and some of the brightest lights and the biggest moments, this is what I've seen this player do. And that's why Mike is my GOAT, because during those biggest moments, he executed and he continued to execute. And it was the way that he did. That's why I picked him over most of the other players.
So how is that different than what Bill Russell did for 11 of his championships?
I didn't watch Bill Russell. Exactly. I didn't watch Bill Russell. I didn't watch Bill Russell. So I can't say that. I really can't. I didn't watch it.
Real quick, I would look at it as to say that for what I saw of Bill Russell, which is going back and watching, obviously, like,
there's video of that? I'm messing with you, man.
Yeah, some of this shit is undocumented, bro. Like,
Celtics fan got to have something for back then, right?
Because I'm the championships y'all hold on to. But go ahead.
One more point. So when I look at LeBron and talk about why the reason he's in my top 10 is because of, just some of the things that he's done. Yeah, he lost a lot and he chased the bag. But on the court, like, this motherfucker dominated just like Shaq in most games. Ain't nobody had nothing for him. Like, couldn't double team. And then the way the league was built, like, there was nobody in the paint defending. And so for his piece, like, yeah, he dominated just like Shaq. There was no big man on there that was really doing anything to stop him. He may have got a little bit of slack. But then I also watch Steph, and I look at the era that they played in the last 15 years. Last 10 years, where the 3-ball was like, I'll say last 5, 6. But during Steph time, the 3-ball, he evolved.
Say 10 years.
Yeah, he evolved the game, whereas though the 3-ball is like, you see teams shooting 75 threes and missing 40 of them 50 of them motherfuckers. Like,
you have to bring up my Celtics? Nah.
But I'm saying, like, so if we look at, like, in this era of the 3, right, of the 3-ball, we look at the era in the 3-ball, can we not put, Steph up there? Can we not put him up there as one of the, the best shooters, best 3-point shooters to ever shoot the game? So, I mean, it's a lot of arguments that could go around about who's who and what's what. It's just what you know.
Yeah, but I think, like, the intelligent basketball fan, like, does the research, and that's the problem. I'm gonna say this. People get mad all they want. I don't think a lot of LeBron fans are intelligent basketball fans. Not saying all. I don't think a lot of them are.
They're mostly emotional.
They're mostly emotional. Their talking points are, basically just rip everybody else who came before, because that's how you lift up your guy. Ignore the losing. Ignore anything that he does that's not good. And it's like, wait, hold on, what? So, I mean, but it is what it is. So let's do this, y'all. Let's do this. It's time, man. Let's take 3 calls. And I know this is a volatile topic, so let's keep to the 5-minute rule, y'all. Let's keep to 5 minutes.
5-minute rule is in effect.
Yes.
You got 5 minutes to state your piece. I would say do most of your talking, and then we'll respond to you post your hang up.
Edward, what up, man?
Oh shit.
Can y'all hear me?
we can hear you, man. We can hear you.
All right. What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing on this lovely Sunday morning? Let me go ahead and get that on out the way.
Maintaining, brother.
Bless, man. Bless.
Facts.
Man, that's what's up. Bruce.
Yes, sir.
Let me start off with this Mike Wilbon.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he from?
Chicago.
Where's he from? Okay, then he's from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, he's from Chicago, and you don't think that it could be a little bit of favoritism going MJ's way with him saying,
"Oh, they're best friends."
I know that.
Friends.
I mean, Bruce, but he didn't want to bring that up though.
Okay, Edward. You know what? Let's say you're right. Let's say you're right on that.
No, it's not say you're right. I am right on that because he's from China.
They're known friends.
Hold on, Transformer. Am I Nigerian?
Okay, Hakeem, you're
Nigerian. Am I Nigerian? Edward?
Yes.
I am not Nigerian. I'm Guyanese American. I am not Nigerian, bro.
Well, apparently how your culture is, you seem like you're Nigerian.
So you already know the point I'm making. I don't even need to continue. Carry on.
Oh, sheesh.
Okay. What's the point you try to make? I want to hear it. Come on, I want to hear it.
Oh, you already know. You're saying that Mike Wilbon is biased because he's from Chicago. Jordan is not from Chicago, but whatever. And I'm saying that Dream is my favorite player. I'm not Nigerian, so you have no point.
No, the point. Okay, so you're saying he's not from Chicago? You just say he's not from Chicago?
No, Michael Jordan's from
Mike's not from Chicago.
No. I'm talking about Mike. I'm talking Mike Wilbon. I'm talking about him, bro.
Mike Wilbon's from Chicago, yeah.
Okay, then that's what I'm talking about, Bruce. I was talking about that, man. So what? I don't know what was the need for you to try to do all that. Then you be throwing those little slick little lefties, when I, throw my name out there in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I'm standing 10 toes down. I'm gonna come look for you.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time, bro. Come on.
Okay, but with that being said, I agree with my brother said on there, man. It's like, man, it's really crazy about that. And then it's like, man, can we all agree that criticism gets the most praise than the positivity when it comes to LeBron?
What?
Criticism gets the most praise than positivity from LeBron James. It's like, man, we can criticize him all day long, but he does not get the praise for positivity.
No, I don't. I absolutely disagree with that. I mean, you the one always sending me clips from stuff. You watch First Take and all these shows. All they do is praise LeBron all day. Come on, stop.
We talking about these other fools, idiots, and jackasses that be talking about, man. They got, and this is not okay. When he talk about he's not, I understand if you want to have LeBron number 2. That's cool. I do not disagree with none of that. And then the GOAT conversation didn't even start until MJ started when he won his first chip. It didn't start when Bill Russell. It did not start when Bill Russell was the GOAT. It did not start when Hakeem won and everything like that. It started with MJ.
With one championship. Matter of fact, before.
No, man, it was never brought up with those two legends, Bruce, and you know that. You know that.
So the only thing I'll say about that real quick, I don't want to take your time. The only thing I'll say about that is because Jordan was by far unlike anything anyone had ever seen before on both sides of the floor. Go ahead.
And what about
that made him the greatest of all time?
Once he won, there's like, yo, wait a minute. But anyway, go ahead.
What about Wilt Chamberlain?
Well, you know what? The older people, like the people in the generation before me, a lot of them say Wilt Chamberlain's the greatest of all time. Not mad at that.
Man, I showed, man, where's some documentation on that? Because I showed ain't hear nothing about that. I mean, hey.
Man, you about 12 years old, of course you ain't hear nothing.
45 seconds, yo. 45 seconds. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Man, look here, man. Hey, 45, 60 seconds, whatever. Anyway, so not only that, what about this situation about I heard someone on another panel said they would put David Robinson over LeBron James. I heard
that. No,
yeah, they got Kevin Garnett over LeBron James, then Paul Pierce over LeBron James. I'm like, wow, what the French toast is going on?
None of that.
What is going on with that crap? And I'm like, man, hey, my dog, you die alone. But anyway, that's another day, man. That's mad crazy right there. But it wasn't nothing really much I had to say, only except for the part where Mike had said on First Take and Get Up. I ain't gonna say too much. It's not even much of a bias thing. It was just the simple fact of the matter is that that man's from Chicago, so he's gonna stand 10 toes down with MJ and all that. But
right, I'm Nigerian. You got it. Right. I got you.
Okay, then, Bruce. Okay, let me ask you this:
No, you're done, bro. Your 5 minutes is up, bro.
No, he's not. But thank you for calling.
I wasn't even on here for 5 minutes, my guy. I wasn't even on here for 5 minutes.
True. The liar. The time will tell you different.
Yeah, but no, Patrick.
It's actually about 6.
Okay, man. I just wanted to hear that, man. But all right, man. I'm finna get off, man. I gotta get back to my day. All right, man.
Thanks for. I think I saw Chief trying to call. Man, go ahead and call back, Chief.
There's a timer right here, guys. I won't lie to you.
I
actually give y'all a little bit more than 5 minutes. So
he does because I interrupted him, so that's fair. Laker Nation, what up, brother?
Hey, I'm just gonna call because I'm just comment on one thing that I heard from the that I just want to point out on. Rich Paul said about Jordan didn't have to deal with 24-hour hate and all that. I just want to shut down this myth. The hate that LeBron got is receiving is self-inflicted by what he said.
Touche.
The comments that Jordan was getting when he played was media driven and fans disagreeing with it. Because when he was a rookie, they were crowning him as the next big thing. He was doing stuff they never seen. So they were like, oh, he's the greatest. And then what all the basketball world that was around then, that's why I was our age now, was the Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, and all them era, Oscar Robertson era. And they were like, he ain't done shit. So how is he better than all these guys? But he was getting all that. Then they created him. They crowned him the greatest basketball player ever by his 4th year, and he was getting slammed with that. It was like y'all forgot about Wilt Chamberlain. Y'all forgot about Bill Russell.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Dr. J doesn't have Jordan as his GOAT.
All that's why he gets a lot of flack from the older guys that was before him because they were doing what the media is doing for about LeBron James now. They were doing that for Jordan then.
Touche. That's a good point.
And that's why
it's just not on a grander scale as it is now because of the media.
Right.
All of them back then were like, no, he's not. Ooh. And then it came down to, okay, you gave him all these accolades, but being a dominant scorer, you're never gonna win. So it comes 91. He was getting, the hate he was getting in. Magic, a proven champion, got there again without Kareem. That was the narrative. That was how it was promoted. And then Jordan finally won. They was like, okay, he got lucky. He beat Magic. Okay.
Right.
But then
I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, it was an ongoing, like he's trying to say it like because of social media wasn't around. I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to say because social media wasn't around then, like it's not as big as it is now. But media, like without social media, people's bias was they didn't have no way of forming their opinions and do research and all that without the internet. So their main story was what SportsCenter and what ESPN and what them were portraying to the people. And people can only go by what they see. And they're like, hold up. People always, go by their common sense. They're like, you can't tell us this, that, and the third. When we seen guys do this before him, Jordan was getting the same shit that LeBron's getting now. It was just it was just talk said in a different umbrella. It is the same pattern that every star goes through. So the fact that you want to complain about it is absurd to me. When every star goes through the same thing, they go through the same backlash, through the same media, The same fanatics that go crazy every time something happens. Okay, he did this. Okay, but he never did this. This guy did. Always comparing them. And last thing I'm gonna say, because I know you, on your show we got a time limit. This GOAT debate stuff never existed. I know people are going to disagree, but it is the truth. GOAT debate never existed, and it never came into fruition until 2016. Well, 2015.
Before that.
People talked about Mike being the GOAT, but there was never a GOAT debate per se.
No, they say he was the greatest that they ever seen do it.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't crown him as they weren't like, oh, this dude's the GOAT. That didn't come to the 2010. Oh, he's the GOAT. We said no, he was the greatest, which is true. You can say somebody's the greatest that I've ever seen do it.
Right.
He's the greatest scorer that I've ever seen. That's a true statement.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
You cannot
average 50 in a season.
But we can't disclaim. And this is a comment that you made, Transformer. You can't tell somebody is lying when they say this is the greatest that I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I said it's all opinionated. But we're going to let you wrap it up, man. 5 minutes is up.
Well, what I'm saying is the GOAT standard didn't start until the 2010s when they started comparing those two guys. So, yeah, that's when everybody said, "Oh, this is my GOAT. This is all ridiculous."
Right. No doubt. I appreciate the call, Laker Nation. Thank you, brother. Thank you as always. By the way, y'all, make sure you check out the Be Ready Sports Podcast. Real good stuff going on there with Laker Nation, highlighting the young fellas coming up and doing their thing in sports. So make sure y'all check that out, like and subscribe to it. Thank you for the call, brother. I appreciate you, man. No doubt. All right, y'all. One more. I need Sid Bubba to call in, Chief. I know you've been trying to get through, man. We definitely want to opportunity to say what you guys say. There we go. Chief, good morning. Good afternoon, I guess.
All right. I got a bit of a different take.
Okay.
Because I watched the Stephen A. interview in which he went over what David Falk said. And I'm the LeBron guy, me and Brucey, Nino. But with that David Falk interview, he didn't go at LeBron James. Or he didn't do anything. He didn't really shoot no shot at LeBron.
Nope.
With David Falk, after the second one, if you had that one, what he was saying, Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. Not what he did on the court, but what he did off the court as well.
He did say that too. Yep, he did.
So that impact for the LeBrons and everybody after, I think that's something that needs to be addressed. Without Michael Jordan, there wouldn't be no LeBron, and LeBron said it. Kobe said it. Everybody else said it. So that wasn't a shot to say, well, LeBron ain't this and LeBron ain't that.
I think what people are upset about was him saying that when they asked him, is LeBron in your top 10? And he said, probably. I think that's what got people really upset.
But you got to understand, David Falk come from the '84 that era. So yeah, he's going to be more biased toward his guys. But really, I can see that. But to me, that's what it's really all about. If you want to put in GOAT or like before my MJ, Bill Russell, everything that he done for the league or whatever, on and off the court. To me, that's what make a GOAT. You can't ever duplicate Michael Jordan. So
correct.
The LeBron
Kobe sure tried.
Well, he tried, but I'm just saying you can't ever have Michael Jordan. But G also said something good too, though. Had LeBron followed a lot what MJ tried to do, as far as having a coach and this, that, and other, he probably could be a whole lot better player. But the times and eras are different. And then too, and if you're comparing David Falk's era to Rich Paul, it's way different. Back then, the agents and stuff did everything behind the scenes. The teams had more power. That was the agent's job. Now it's different. You got to look at how the CBA, how everything is structured now. So they would get guys like Rich Paul to do, I don't know, personal branding and everything else.
Right.
Back then, the agents did all the work and take care of everything.
Right.
Now they're more partnership related. So the job that Rich Paul does now is way different from David Falk. You wouldn't even really hear nothing about David Falk unless you're a top college recruit and David's going to get you some more money. Rich Paul, it's a different game. So, yeah, I know how you want to catch old Rich slipping, but Rich now has to focus on, the public marketability.
Mm-hmm.
And, he said some misstatements. But I did look up, in most of the finals, except for the 98, from what I've seen on ChatGPT, MJ was favorite. So,
well, I looked it up on grok.com and it has 91 and 98. So, I mean, regardless, he definitively stated, he being Rich, that MJ was favored in every finals. He was never the underdog. And I'm like, that's just not the case.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but that's what Rich's job is, to hype his guys up.
Yeah, but you can hype your guy without lying, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so easy for me to bust this dude up with everything he says. Like, it's a
difference. It's a difference, like I said, between misspeaking. A lot of stuff, does he really take time out to think to try to sway? Now, some of the stuff we can question on. But to me, that was the crux against David Falk and Rich Paul. Different eras, different jobs. He's more of a branding partner, cultural stuff. David negotiates the contract. Everything was team centric. Now it's player driven. So they're gonna see stuff different. David actually liked Rich Paul. He's proud of what he done. That's what he said. So I don't think he really came at LeBron them. And I'm pretty much a LeBron guy. But I just looked at it for what it was and what he was saying to get cleared.
All right.
Got it.
Yo, you got questions, Transformer G?
No. I was just saying, got it. I got what you're saying.
Okay. All right. Hey.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, man. Great call by Chief.
I think that's just you, G.
I don't know. I'm not seeing it on here. But no, that's a great call from Chief. I appreciate that feedback, and I also appreciate you presenting a kind of different angle on it, which you always do, man. So thank you so much for that.
I see what you're talking about.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, you can see it on the actual stream. You don't see it on us.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
It's on the actual stream.
I don't know what's going on there. Let's see. Wait a minute. We all know Jordan had an early start with the shoe business. Kevin Durant, I think I just saw it. Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, not going to catch up with MJ. He started early, so let's just stop. Edward. See, you with the BS. Okay, cool. So let me give you that. Why don't you say the same thing about LeBron starting early in the NBA? So let's just stop. When you talk about how much points he scored and how many assists he has and all that, why don't you say the same thing? See how easy it is for me to dismantle you, bro? Come on, man. Come better than that. Pause. Yeah. You got to do better than that. Got to do better. It's too easy.
I think people put shoes in a conversation that doesn't have anything to do with the players.
Yeah.
Like, y'all don't understand the type of business that Nike had to run and what they had to do to get themselves out of the water on the back of Michael Jordan.
Like,
if you understand business, they put all their money, every dime, into that Jordan campaign. That "Be Like Mike" slogan, that's Nike. Like, that whole thing, that whole thing, they blew up just so they can get themselves out of the hole. They leaned on the back of Michael Jordan. By the time there's not Steph Curry, he's not Nike. KD, Bron, even Kobe. Like, Kobe came in, Nike was already who they are. So that campaign doesn't need to be as strong, and you have so many different shoes and so many different athletes that they're having. They have to now divvy out that exposure to all these said shoes. That's why nobody's ever going to be able to compete with Jordan, because Nike had to lead such a contingent for, like, on Jordan's campaign to be where it is today. Yeah.
So the last thing we'll say on this topic, and just to finish that off, that's a great point you guys are making. No, Converse didn't drop the ball with the weapons with Bird and Magic. So this is funny. Nike actually reached out to Magic right prior to Mike, like a couple years before, and Nike was going to offer Magic. They said, well, not Nike. They said, we can't offer you the money Converse is offering you, but we can offer you stock. Yeah. And Magic talks about it now. He says, man, you know, looking back, like I really missed out. But at the same time, you know, he's a kid, not a kid, but he's a young man who grew up with 10 brothers and sisters in the house, right? I think one bathroom or whatever, a mom and dad, you know, 10 brothers and sisters. He's like, I got to get this bread now. And I think Converse offered him like $25,000, which in 1980 was a hell of a lot of money, right? So he's like, I got to take this dough instead of, you know, gambling in stock on something that I don't know if it's going to pay off. So I get it. Obviously, hindsight is 2020. So, you know. Yeah.
He talks about that, but no, I'm like, man, I feel like such a dummy.
Yeah. He's like
it's so much money.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, y'all, let's go to the final topic, man. This was a great one, man. I didn't expect to, you know, for this to go, you know, all over the place like that and to get so many really good, you know, inputs and feedbacks on this. That was tough. What? Why are you making that face, man?
Well, you know, every time there's a Rich Paul, Bron, Jordan, this conversation is going to go for a while, bro. It's not going to be no quick segment.
No, I mean,
Nigerian.
Yeah, am I Nigerian? You know, that was
ridiculous. No, I'm not.
Right. That was ridiculous. All right, y'all. Final topic. This will be a lot quicker. So, man, SGA and the Oklahoma City Thunder, #1 overall seed in the playoffs, going to Minnesota last night, hoping to take an insurmountable, yes, I'll say insurmountable because it's never ever happened before, insurmountable lead in their series in the Western Conference Finals and go up 3-0 over the T-Wolves. The T-Wolves were not having it, mess around and, you know, handed them their worst ever, mess around and handed them their worst ever playoff loss, beat them by 42, 143 to 101. Thank God this was, wait a minute, was this worse than what the Knicks did to the Celtics? Maybe it wasn't.
Oh, no, I thought the Cavs beat them
by
last
38, 39.
What the Cavs do last? The Cavs beat them by like 50, I thought.
Oh, they did. That's right. Yeah, they beat
them. Oh, you talking about the worst loss?
You close them out.
Yeah.
Well, this is the worst loss in Thunder playoff history. So, yeah. Yeah, I was just looking for somebody to lose worse than my Celtics lost to the Knicks.
The Cavs beat the crap out of Miami earlier.
Yeah, they did. Mm-hmm.
Put them to sleep early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so but yeah, just talking about it, man. This was one of those games. I'm not even gonna lie. I watched the first half and I was like totally just tuned out after that because I'm like, this is disgraceful.
I mean, it was up 35 before the freaking half was over. I'm like, yeah, it's over.
Man, I think 32 at the half, man. It was talk about a beatdown. Like I don't know. Like there are going to be bad games. I just don't know how you come out and lay an egg like that with everything on the line because
you want to win at home.
Yeah.
They want to end it at home.
But isn't Magic one of the ones who always talked about? Damn it, Magic. He's one of the ones who always talked about, you know, putting a foot on the other guy's throat when you have the opportunity to do that to him. Now he didn't always, you know. They had a chance. I think they were up 2-0 in 1986 against the Rockets, and then you know. Anyway,
but you got to think like this is bigger for OKC and seeing that this is only going to be their second time being there.
Oh,
so I think that's why they want to be like, all right, hey, go ahead and lose one of these games, but we're going to go ahead and end this in 5 in OKC, so we can celebrate, have the trophy presented in the stadium and stuff like that. I just like, to me, great game by Minnesota. I'm not going to take it away from them, but Thunder didn't come to play.
So are you saying Thunder in 5?
Thunder in 5, yeah. Yeah, it's over. I think it's Thunder in 5. OKC is such a great team. We're not going to see Shea go 4 for 13 only score 14 points. We're not going to see Hartenstein literally only played 19 minutes, only get 6 rebounds and 6 points. We're not going to see Jalen Williams, who's been a stud this entire series, go minus 31 with 13 points. They didn't come to play. They didn't come to play. No.
Gee, what you got, man? I saw you shaking your head, man. What are your thoughts?
No, I think this is game 7. This gonna go game 7. It's gonna go.
You think it's gonna go 7?
Yeah. The next game is Timberwolves. The series up, and then it's 1-1. They go back and forth, right? And I say that I saw energy, a different like type of energy that came from Ant and the rest of the team. Like, yeah, it was a must-win game for them, but I didn't see that type of energy the first 2 games. Almost as if like they was just trying to wait and see how these guys was going, how the best player. This could go either way though, like you said. I mean, it could be in 5 and you could be right. I don't know, but looking at the game, it seemed like they had their number and they made some adjustments. I mean, you don't just go out and lose by 42. You know, even the 2 games that they lost, like you don't lose by 42, man. Like that's just it. I think Shea and OKC lost big to somebody where he was smiling. Y'all remember that? He was like smiling last series, and they was asking like, why were you smiling? Like they was getting whipped last series. But then this was game 3. I forget who they played last. It was game 3,
I mean,
and
they played
they was
Denver
down
last series.
they was down by 50, and he was smiling, and then of course they beat him. But this was like the 3rd game too. I gotta look at the what's the name, but I'm almost certain it was like the 3rd game, and he just started smiling, and that's when he started turning things around. But they've known to drop that 3rd game for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They've been known
Just
to
lack
drop
of
that 3rd
focus,
game.
going on the road, the other team desperate, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, they only scored 14 points in the first quarter. That's not OKC. They're not going to do that again.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
You think
I don't know why.
big one next game? Pause.
I think it's going to be competitive, but I can see if OKC wins the next game, they'll for sure tell me that they trying to end this in OKC.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if he can get to the line, they're gonna be successful. I don't know what he shot from the line. Yeah, I don't know what he shot from the line, but
he was 4
it seemed like 4 for 4. So yeah, if he get 10 plus, there's a problem. 10 plus trips to the line is a problem.
They took him out the game. Like when they laid it out early, they took everybody out early.
Yeah.
So it was more like, hey, come on.
Ain't shit
like
we can do.
Chet Holmgren played 21 minutes. Williams 25. Hartenstein played 19. Shea played 28. Dort played 22.
It was smoke.
It's like at that point, okay, it's not coming back. We just going
like that.
They were smoke from the beginning. They definitely got.
They shot 50% from 3.
Asses.
They got it handed. Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think there's much I can say other than Minnesota knew they couldn't go down 0-3. They came out, they played like it, and they are right back in this thing. And to G's point, they mess around and tie this thing. Now we really got a rumble on our hands. So.
Then we got a rumble. Yeah, that'll change my opinion, but I didn't see the same OKC team. It was just more like, what are y'all doing? Like, okay, all right, y'all just they're not playing basketball. Like again, 14 points in the first quarter. I'm like, y'all ain't even get to the line. Y'all ain't doing nothing. Like turnovers defensively. Now, granted, Minnesota was shooting lights out, 50% from 3. I think 20 out of 40. They shot 40 and made 20. Damn, I know the Celtics wish they could have did that, but shot 57% from the field. I mean, they were very, very awful from the free throw line, even though they only took 17. But again, all of these metrics, and then you look at the way OKC's played this entirety of the playoffs, it just didn't match up to me. So I looked at the game and like, they trying to win at OKC. And they're trying to go sweep them and have to host a trophy in Minnesota.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, it would really suck for SGA to go out that way after, being the MVP and all that. So you better make it happen.
True.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
Yeah. I just wish, and this is the last thing I got to say about it, I just wish that we would see more of the star guards guarding each other. I just wish we could see more of that. But I guess I got to stop thinking about it that way because that's just not how the modern NBA works.
But, I mean, Shea plays the 1. Don't he?
Yeah.
Shea plays the 1. Yeah. Ant plays the 2.
No doubt. But, I mean, I would still
like to see that matchup, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And I totally get you. I would just, I would love to see it. But
yeah, you try to put your best defender because, like, on OKC, who's your best defender? Dort. So Dort, you go guard Ant.
That's a good point.
I'm pretty sure Minnesota's looking at it the same way. Like, hey, who's our best defender? You go guard Shea, which I think they'll put Dick McDaniels on him. Like, put McDaniels. You got length, you got size, you got speed. Use that, and both of you could save a little bit more energy because we're going to need you for the offensive side of the basketball. So I understand it from a coaching perspective. Absolutely.
I get it.
Lou Dort made the all defensive team this year.
Yeah, no doubt. I just wonder when that changed, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys used to, again, I know it's the old times, but guys used to really take pride in the matchup. So I just wonder when that changed.
But back then, to your point, like the Kobe's and the Jordans, they made the defensive team. They were the best defender on their team.
While still being the elite offensive players.
Yeah, so. they were still number one.
Yeah, no doubt.
Kawhi Leonard, number one on defense. So I'm gonna check you, but I'm also gonna give you 25, 30 points. So
yeah. Gee, what's up, man?
I think the ceiling for both of these players is extremely high, and I think we will see matchups as the season go on. We'll see them in those key moments where they just, they got to meet each other. It doesn't matter who's checking them.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But Alex Caruso, man, he been balling, man.
Balling.
Yeah, he been balling.
I will forever be a Caruso fan, despite his early career foibles with the Lakers. I will forever be a Caruso fan. Not that Caruso. I'll forever be a Caruso fan because he locked up Jokic. I love that. I don't want to hear nothing more about Jokic getting locked up by a freaking guard. Is there something wrong with your camera? What's going on?
It's just Caruso. Caruso is his name. Caruso.
Yes, I know about the Caruso, but I don't want to hear that. Anyway. All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and we're going to leave it right there because, I got to skate. But good show, man. I want to
bounce.
I really appreciate you guys, again, as always, your interaction. Appreciate your calls. Appreciate you in the chat. Awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. That's it.
Man, if you want to start that over, we're gonna allow this man to start over. But you better bring some more energy to end this goddamn take.
What you talking about, man?
Oh, yeah. Good take. You guys calling in and
Gassed out.
I'm not Nigerian.
I'm not. Hey, have that same energy. No, I'm not.
Genghis Khan.
I'm Genghis Khan.
It's in the beginning. Genesis.
That is one of my favorite.
God's created the heavens and the earth. Hey, bro, we're way back.
Bitch, man.
This ain't the time to be smart, man. Not now.
I'm just saying, man.
Arrow is broken only 2 times. He started reciting fortune cookie quotes and shit.
Man.
He had the arrow and he snapped it. Like, what? Arrow, boy, we got bullets now, man.
Yeah. Talking about there can be more than one king. No, you idiot. There cannot. No, there cannot be more than one king. Come on, man.
Oh, God. Man, we appreciate y'all, man. The energy is here. You need me to do it. We appreciate you guys showing up. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. We love it. We appreciate the interaction. We appreciate everything you guys do. You guys are helping us grow this channel to the fullest extent. We are growing and we're growing and we're growing, and it won't be. It is all because of you guys, man. It's really, truly all because of you guys. So we appreciate the support. We appreciate the love. Bruce, when next time we're on here?
What up?
I think we come back Wednesday, right?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Well, unless something crazy happens.
I'm sure something will happen between now and then. So
that's a long time. So you'll definitely see us, man. Hit that notification bell. That way you guys stay with the notifications. You see us pop on. So if we do make those random pop-ups, we try to give you guys a good heads up on it. But if you guys don't see it, if you turn on the notification bell, you're going to see us on your screen. So we appreciate you guys, man.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Y'all have a great Memorial Day as well. And just take a second to remember all those who made the sacrifice.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you too, man. All right. My Army brothers from the other side. It's always going to be go Navy, beat Army. But, at the end of the day, man, we all stand 10 toes down for each other. We're all brothers in arms, man. I appreciate you boys. And I appreciate anybody in the chat, man. Sid Bubba, absolutely. Appreciate you guys who all served. Laker Nation, I believe he served as well.
Yes, he did.
So salute to you guys, man. Salute to all of those who had family, who served, perished, whatever the case may be. My father was an Army guy. My younger sister is an Army guy. My cousins are Navy, Air Force. Got plenty of family, man. So.
That's right.
But that's it.
That's it. Y'all have a great one. Appreciate you. Peace.